keep on doing this on some tough guy shit. Hey. Creator, nonprofit. Dark money group. Dark money. Dark money, super powerful, all powerful. Hi. We're gonna talk about that right away. Here, call in. Everyone cares, because if you talk to young people, then they don't know what matters about the money in politics. What makes it bad, what the incentives are, the bad incentives that can make money in politics bad. How's it going, guys? Here. I'm gonna watch... Where's my browser? Display capture. Yeah. Display capture. I'm gonna do some online politics. This is the Vanguard pod. They are far left communists. I'm pretty sure socialists, whatever, reacting to the Majority Report. And they are talking about an article about this nonprofit organization called Chorus, which the Taylor Lorenz crazy girl made a article about the dark money group that's funding Democratic media to fall in line with the party. Super crazy, dark, all-powerful money. In reality, Chorus, the thing they're going to be talking about is a 501c4 nonprofit. So what that means is a tax exemption, IRS filing, basically. So if you're a nonprofit 501c3, if you donate to a 501c3, there's no taxes on it. You can write it off. If you are a 501c3, you don't pay taxes. All right, there's other rules with spending money, not having any money you don't spend, the services you can provide, not having any partisanship, not doing any electioneering. There's a lot of different things to go into like a nonprofit status. Now this 501c4, with a C4 versus a C3. A C3 you need to be full nonpartisan, but a C4 you can have some political topics, but you still cannot talk on behalf of a political party or whatever. So,
But in terms of like, you know, calling yourself independent media and then taking a bunch of money, this was our same critique of TYT, who then accused us of being a part of this like
we have advertisers,
because we have advertisers
that we actually like are paid to announce that connection on the show, as a part of the advertisement,
right? And like, but that was their kind of branding of independent is undercut by the Peter Thiel money from both like these exploitative Medicare Advantage things and also Poly Market. So, but that's even somehow still more independent than taking money like directly from a Democratic firm and then saying you can't disclose it.
The firm's not a Democratic firm. It's a 501c4, all right, independent of the party. If they were working with the party, they would get torn apart. They would lose their tax exemption status, okay? So they cannot work with the Democratic Party. They cannot force people to do certain messaging on behalf of the Democratic Party. They cannot do that as a 501c4. All that is categorically just false.
The Vanguard will be there, sir.
I'm really excited to see what Emma Vigeland and Matt Leck have to say. I've seen some tweets from both of them that, you know, hinted at the fact that we're in pretty much lockstep agreement on this one. But
the Vanguard is a good example of a show of two losers who are also really dumb. And I'm sorry. I shouldn't be mean to people, but they have a big platform. They do political TMZ. They do no political analysis. Now, as someone who spends entire shows for hours at a time talking to MAGA voters with a phone number, meaning I get the most true form of MAGA, it's enraging to see these people getting rich off driving left drama bait and left conflict with the interleft media on the internet, making money from TMZ, doing nothing at all to expand progressivism or leftism or democratic politics or any type of politics whatsoever. All of their videos are drama bait. Okay, Emma Vigeland eviscerates. They do TYT a lot. They do H3 podcast. It's mostly about content creators having disputes, and they do reaction videos to this, and they drive up more drama. They make hundreds of thousands of dollars. They act like they're poor. They beg for donations. And it's really a low form of content and low form of commentary. They add nothing at all to the media space whatsoever, other than getting people pissed off at the process, and they give a feeling of hopelessness to the process. They don't even help people become politically active. It's a channel that really frustrates me in the way they talk about this stuff.
Did you have anything to add before we...
As someone on the left who gives a shit about the left, who gives a shit about these issues they claim to care about, it makes me really mad when they don't know how reality functions. Okay, it makes me really, really, really upsetty spaghetti.
React to some of it?
Definitely excited to get the opinion of the Majority Report crew. Again, I recommend watching this entire segment. We're gonna, jump forward to like 6 minutes in or so when it really gets good, and when they bring up TYT, because obviously, not only us, but Emma, Sam, they've been very critical of the corporate sponsors that have taken over TYT and the Katzenberg cash and all that kind of stuff.
8K can go a long way around here. By the way, I'm shifting my fundraising to Patreon, so if anyone's at a higher donation tier on Google, on the YouTube memberships, definitely go to my Patreon if you want to become a member there. And I'm gonna drop down the membership tier on YouTube to just being like the $3 one to make it easier for people to be members on YouTube.
So
get the name.
some interesting, insights here.
Howdy.
Account made this point that it
Give me
feels
money,
like all of these
Please,
influencers were
money.
there to convince old people that that Biden had young support versus trying to get young people on board with Biden. I thought that was such a
The
great
old
point.
people are
by
more
him.
likely to get their wallets out for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Is, oh, look at all these young, nice influencers that are saying actually people don't care about Gaza. People
Right.
don't like Bernie Sanders that much or AOC. They want Alyssa Slotkin.
And we got a clip of Hassan that someone sent to us reacting to it. I am proud to say that the Majority Report, I don't think we were approached, right? I mean, we would have
Maybe
Definitely
Sam
not.
was, and Sam laughed at it.
Yeah, I mean, or it got lost in junk email and we would have never responded to it anyway. But in terms of like, calling yourself independent media and then taking a bunch of money, this was our same critique of TYT, who then accused us of
I know the big money conversation is about having, I guess, your content compromised and your beliefs compromised. But I think about Kyle Kulinski. Every show he says about how he needs Patreon donations to survive with his channel. And he convinces his working class audience that the political system is... And I love Kyle. I love his content. I grew up on his content, all that kind of stuff. And I respect him in the populist left framework. He really sees the threat of MAGA, okay? But asking every video in Kyle's position, a channel with almost 2 million subscribers and like 5,000 Patreon donators, saying we are independent media, we don't need the big money donors, I need you to stay independent. They don't need you to stay independent. Like Kyle Kulinski is probably a multimillionaire. He just never talks about it. It's just really, it's gross to me when these huge channels make a bunch of money and they talk about the political system as being so broken and unable to be worked through, unworkable completely. And then they turn around and they say to their audience, the only way we get out of this is if you donate to my Patreon. Now, it's okay. Like, I'll say that, for example. I'll say donate to my Patreon. I'm a rising channel. I'm a growing channel. I need the donations to do more time in content. And I think you should be able to make a lot of money doing content. For sure. But don't be a 2 million subscriber channel like Kyle and still say, I need your Patreon donations to survive for independent left media. Like, you're a very rich person. You're a wealthy person. I don't know.
of being a part of this like
So we have
group
advertisers
because we have advertisers.
that we actually are paid to announce the connection on the show
Yeah.
as a part of the advertisement.
Right. And like, but that was their kind of branding of independent is undercut by the Peter Thiel money from both like these exploits.
They also post daily. Yeah, they post daily because it's low-level slob content. If I did drooling content and I made money off it so I can quit my regular job and my other jobs, I would be able to easily pump out their content. I quit YouTube the first time because I didn't want to be a dumbass channel like they do. Now, I should have been a grifter and just made a bunch of money like they do, but I didn't. I should have just done a reaction drama channel. It would have been better.
Medicare Advantage things and also poly market.
No, Kyle's not.
So, but
I
that's
said I like Kyle. I just said he should stop acting like he needs working class people to donate to him to survive with his channel. And he always says, like, we need to get in the streets and stop this. Like, who is we? What do you mean we?
that's even
I
somehow
like Kyle's
still
content.
more
I'm talking about the Vanguard.
independent than taking money like directly from a Democratic firm and then saying you can't disclose it too, because it's one thing to read an ad for Medicare Advantage and like, all right, people can look into it and see how shady this plan is.
Yeah, Vivek Ramaswamy founded that company that Jank's reading ads for. And I'll agree with Emma that it is slightly better, but I think she's being kind of polite to TYT in this. Taking multiple venture capital funding rounds pretty much means that you're corporate media. I don't know how the fuck else you describe it. You've got like 100 employees. You've done a seed round, Series A, and a Series B. That's corporate to me. I don't know any other definition for corporate. Yeah.
Why are his eyes so wide open? What kind of cocaine is he on? Why do we talk about corporate versus like, if we talk about corporate versus independent media, we should probably judge the reporting. Like Mehdi Hassan was on corporate media and he was far better. He still is far better now that he's independent, but he was far better than independent media. Joe Rogan's independent media, and Joe Rogan's leading to the collapse of Western civilization. Like, unironically. Like, independent media does not automatically make you a king or a god or, I don't know.
But you're reading the ad. This is just a subsidy that really affects your coverage that you're literally not allowed to disclose.
It's actually taking creators under their wing so they know how to properly post thumbnails and descriptions that are going to get engagement. This is just about best practices. And I would love somebody to give me an $8,000 a month retainer to teach me about how to do thumbnails. Please.
Not everyone's getting $8,000. It ranges from like $100 to like $8,000 in this program. It's like a fellowship program, a scholarship. If you want to support an ecosystem of creators, especially on the left, if you're like, they're laughing their asses off right now, and it's really just amazing. Dumb people will laugh at things that make sense and think is hilarious. If you want to build out a broad base of a media network and independent media, it probably makes sense that you have organizations where you can pay working class people who cannot otherwise afford to make content, but you pay them enough of a stipend to help jumpstart a media career of some kind. And that can definitely be done through a nonprofit format. The left can do that. Like Hassan Piker and all these different guys, they not only have enough money themselves to fund a network of at least 15 to 20 creators on the same budget, at the same pay rate. They also have the outreach to do the fundraising necessary to have a comparable organization that can help bolster more further left media types. But they don't do that. The far left, especially online, does not do any organizing. They don't do bullshit. They don't do shit at all. Hassan Piker does protest when he can monetize it. If he can monetize it and make money off it, he does it.
As long as you don't have to
Honestly, I need that more than Matt does.
say like, oh yeah, actually, it's all the people who supported Palestine who are responsible for what's going on now.
So Hassan reacted to this. Here's his take.
Say then all those people noted in the article should just say Israel bad. What do you see these shit Dem party defenders doing? More their audiences turn on them. I think they're just like actively going to defend their honest intentions. They're going to say like, no, we didn't do this because of money. We did it. They just gave us money for free and you're stupid.
And so I'm aware of
remember, a lot of this stuff is just like parasocial.
There's organizations that have fellowship programs and scholarship programs where you get paid a stipend and they do give you trainings that are not affiliated with media, that are just like organizing positions, or they are for registering people to vote. This can be 501c3 or 501c4. These are not very huge things going on here. And it's really common. Pretty much anybody watching right now, if you really wanted to, you can probably get an organizing job during the election season for 6 months, contracted, that pays $6,000 a month, depending on what area you're in, like $6,000, something like that. Like it's not that crazy of a thing. But again, these people have no experience. They're losers that are famous-ish on YouTube based off of their TMZ reaction content. They have no authority on these. Do they even know what these 501c3, C4 classifications are? Do they even know what that means and why Chorus needs to operate how it does to keep its tax exemption status?
Social.
But it doesn't matter because I want to make sure my audience hears from me about this. Now, the most important thing to say is that the idea behind this group is exactly what I've been advocating for years.
That's such horseshit, dude. You were a Bernie Sanders guy. You were a hardcore leftist. You were a Dem socialist. You were talking about overthrowing the Democratic Party. You were talking about out with the old and in with the new. And now you are firmly entrenched in the establishment camp. You were taking pictures with Genocide Joe in December of 2024, dude. Okay? As he was overseeing the slaughtering of innocent Palestinian children on a mass scale. All right? You were there to kiss his ass, shake his hand, and tell everybody, oh no, he's actually doing a great job. That is a far cry from where you were 8 years ago.
For years, I've been saying.
I mean, I will say, it's not very surprising to me, at least, that like there are a lot of left content creators on the independent media side, some of which are very popular, myself included.
I don't know, like, for domestic politics, for trans people, for black people, for a lot of women who are not in blue states especially, this idea that Joe Biden was a terrible president is just not the reality for many people in America who were protected from Joe Biden being the most pro-trans president in American history by far, pro-gay president in American history in general, pro-LGBTQA, plus the whole alphabet, all right? Joe Biden supported all of it. Extremely strong, like to a crazy amount. I don't think people really appreciate how much the party came out for trans people in that time. You know, and I don't know, when you say Joe Biden sucked and you can't be praising Joe Biden for anything and you're supporting Genocide Joe, if you support him at all, maybe you can support him for domestic policy. I don't know. Like it's just the American empire machine, as the leftists would call it, is bigger than just Joe Biden, obviously, since Trump is twice as bad as Biden is, twice as bad on Gaza and every other foreign conflict.
Chapo Trap House, Majority Report. And I don't think these guys went to them at all. One must ask the question, why? Why is it, you know? Perhaps it's because if you have a truly anti-establishment opinion, it's not just like...
Oh, there's people calling me. Wait, here, call again, call into the show, whatever, call. I'll open up the phone lines for you people. Guys, I'm opening up my Patreon again for donations. I'm gonna beg so I can do more content creation. All right, don't donate to millionaires. All right, make me a millionaire, obviously. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing streaming on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. A lot of the work I've been doing is expanding into those websites, maybe even Twitch and Kick. So I want to use Patreon as my central fundraising platform that can go across all of them, to not rely too much on YouTube. I'm thinking of perks I can add to it. But yeah, my Patreon, I'll leave it in the description and stuff too. The phone lines are open.
Marketing, then
that's also a great point. Like, you're going to tell me that you don't care what anybody says, and you're not even going to reach out to Hassan Piker, the #1 left Twitch streamer? Are you kidding me? That would have been your guy. Oh, we don't care what anybody says. They're allowed to be as hardline as they want. You would want desperately to have Hassan Piker in your stable. He probably would have.
Hassan Piker wouldn't even vote for Kamala Harris or endorse against Trump. Right now, Hassan will still not say that Trump is worse than Kamala would have been. Like, he still will not say that. He's not pro-democracy. If you look at the way the far left looks at Alyssa Slotkin, now I don't like Alyssa Slotkin. She's not my first pick, but you need to contend with the fact that she won in a swing state for Democrats, and she's pretty popular among her Democratic constituents. Now, the online left hates her. I don't like her, but still, in a Democratic sense, listen to the people. People like her for some reason. It's not all a CIA ultra dark money plot, APAC plot, all right? I'm pretty sure she works more with J Street anyway than APAC. But you have to contend with the actual facts of what's happening. But they don't really care. I mean, I'm pretty sure Hassan would subvert the House and Senate as soon as he became president, if possible.
Said no, but the fact that he didn't even get approached says a lot.
Yep. And then even though he was invited to the DNC, which is in no way affiliated with Chorus, he was the only one that got kicked out for speaking the fucking truth and criticizing them for not allowing a single goddamn Palestinian speaker to speak. So again, it seems kind of
on Chorus's
funny how
front page there's an anti-democratic party.
Oh, they didn't
pro-Palestine
hire him, and then even though he did get invited to the DNC, he's the only guy that gets kicked out. Seems like a pattern.
Page.
Seems like the DNC and their fucking propaganda arm doesn't want anything to do with.
Okay, the statement seems like a pattern is not enough evidence to go on a full tirade and do multiple videos accusing people of lying about their beliefs because they got paid by dark money sources. Okay, that's not enough evidence to make that claim. It's insane.
To be honest.
It's not likely that you are going to have billionaires that fund you through dark money groups so that you can actively demand that they no longer be billionaires. This is not happening.
Left needs to organize independent media in the way that the right has been doing. The left needs to fund independent creators the way that the right does. The right has won even arguably presidential elections.
Yeah, I think they're also saying, yeah, this is the argument. This is the meta. Well, the Republicans do this too, and if we got to fight fire with fire, this is how.
Okay, if Republicans have an expansive donor base and also an organizing base, like TPUSA, probably the most impressive organizing what do you call them? What organization are they? A C4? Are they under let's see, is TPUSA 501c4? When it comes to operations on college campuses, TPUSA has done more than any organization in human freaking history, bro.
We got to do it.
You want to replicate that infrastructure. What David Pakman said there is supporting the infrastructure that allows expansive media network that supports your candidates and your party and your political ideology. That's not even like copying the Republicans doing something immoral kind of thing. It's just like about materials and resources being put where it's going to be the most effective.
It's
like, how about we fund media creators instead of paying advertisement agencies, right? I think people would like that. I agree with that.
Call from
Jason.
Hello.
Yes, this is the show on YouTube.
Yep, you're live.
All right, I wanted to talk to you. I voted for Trump 3 times. First, can I ask you a question, or are you just a person that likes to ask questions?
Yeah, I'd rather you ask the question because I stream all the time, so it's good if you have one.
Okay. You know what the definition of a dictator is?
I can give you my definition for why I call Trump one.
No, I want to know the actual legal or actual definition of a dictator.
I would say that it's someone with absolute power, pretty much, or you can say totalitarianism, a bunch of words for it.
So do you think the guy in China is a dictator?
China? Yeah, I mean they have a one-party state. Yeah. Well, that's a tough one because you can say it's a party rule, so that'd be totalitarianism. There could be a dictator like Xi Jinping. Like I'd say yes. Him and Putin are definitely dictators. Yeah, I mean they're the leaders of it, so yeah.
Trump is not a dictator. What does he do that makes him a dictator?
Well, that's why I said I can tell you. I think he wants to be one. So, like, for example, sending in the National Guard to blue cities.
Wanting to be one and being one is 2 different things. You said he's a dictator on your page. You should put he wants to be one if you believe that, because he's not a dictator.
Yeah, but it's a title. It's a title to a page. I can't fit all that. It wouldn't really flow that good.
Oh, wow. Now, the reason why are you against stopping crime and stopping all the killings in Washington, D.C.? Can I ask you one question real quick? Are you a Democrat or a Republican?
I'm a Democrat, but I don't care that much about parties.
All right, but do you care about people dying and living and drugs coming in here and illegal aliens coming in here and all that?
that's why I don't like Trump, yeah.
Why? Because he deports illegals that kill.
No, I mean Barack Obama was the deporter in chief, right? He deported a lot of people.
But why don't you like Trump? Because he deports people?
No. Okay, so he's draining resources from our schools, from our healthcare. He's draining resources that are going to put communities in worse positions and create more crime. He is defunding the police, and he's using the military for law enforcement, which is a really bad formula in America. If you want to, get crime down, you have to do prevention of crime, which includes, investing in the community, working with law enforcement, working with mental health specialists, doing all that kind of stuff. You would not just send in the damn military into American streets when they don't even want it.
No. The people want you to see really thankful that they're there because they walk around at nighttime and be safe.
In D.C., I know people who live there. They hate it. They want to move from D.C. because of what's happening there. 80% in every poll. In every poll, 80% of D.C. residents hate what's happening because the federal government coming in and sending the military whenever they want to is a scary thing for any American, any real American.
So they'd rather have no military there and have criminals run wild, killing people, drive-by shootings, selling drugs on every street corner, and having illegals raping girls and killing little 12-year-old girls on it. They'd rather have all that than having a safe neighborhood to walk through.
Okay, so answer this. Why do I know probably 24 people who live in D.C., but none of them have ever seen any of that?
Because they're lying or they're lying, Trevor.
No, I mean, I've been there too. I've walked around at night. I did not feel unsafe at all. There's some neighborhoods for sure, but the crime there usually happens within the poor neighborhoods. They don't usually come into the, more wealthy parts. And there's usually crime between people who know each other already. It's not usually just like going and robbing or killing a stranger.
That's what you guys...
And I'm anti-crime for sure, but what Trump is doing is making people feel less safe because the government doing something illegal or doing something with guns is probably more scary than random people doing it. Like the military being sent to American cities is probably bad for real Americans.
Do you want all the drugs to stop coming to America and all the illegal stuff happening to stop, or do you not care about that?
No, I care. Most of the drugs are brought in by American citizens. The drug problem is really complicated.
Get real, dude. It's not American citizens bringing drugs. It's bringing people from Mexico and Venezuela and all that.
No, American citizens get paid to be mules. That's like 80% of fentanyl across the border.
China sends all the chemicals to Mexico and Venezuela, and they make it and they bring it across. That's what
so like if someone's coming here as an immigrant, they would not use those people to bring drugs into America. They would use someone who can fly under the radar, which is what they do. That's why American citizens bring in a lot of the drugs.
Well, why are we about to bomb Venezuela then?
Because Trump is really pro-war, probably.
He's not pro-war. He stopped 5 or 6 wars, man.
Then why does he want to bomb Venezuela? Why does he want to start a war with Venezuela and bomb them?
He hasn't yet, though. Maybe he's just not going to try to scare
Okay,
him.
I thought you wanted to. Okay, do you think scaring a country is anti-war? Doesn't that make people more likely to go to war instead of working together?
He stopped 6 wars, man. He stopped 6 wars, so he's not anti-war.
So in Ukraine, Russia, the killing in Ukraine quadrupled. The killing in Gaza quadrupled since Trump took office. Why did those situations get so much worse?
What places got worse? For what reason?
Well, Ukraine got worse because Trump is Putin's baby bitch, and Trump pulled intel away from Ukraine. No, but like I don't know if you know about that, but the strikes in Ukraine increased by 400%. That's a lot. A lot more people are killed.
He's trying to stop that war.
Under...
He's trying to broker a deal and talking to Putin. Zelensky is the reason why that war's still going. He doesn't want to stop the war. Putin wants to stop it, and Trump wants to stop it. But Zelensky wants to kill everybody.
Wait. Do you know if Putin just stopped invading, there'd be no more war?
And you know if Zelensky quit shooting missiles on Russia, there'd probably be no more war?
Yeah, because Russia invaded Ukraine.
Takes two to tango, right?
No, but Russia invaded Ukraine first. Ukraine never fired a missile into Russia to make them invade Ukraine.
Right, but if they would just stop, Russia would stop.
That's not true at all. Because Ukraine was not attacking Russia, okay, and Russia still illegally invaded Ukraine when Ukraine was not attacking Russia.
That's because Biden's the weakest president ever.
So it's Biden's fault that Putin is killing children in Ukraine. That's pretty disgusting, bro. You know he bombed churches on Palm Sunday. Are you a Christian?
I'm a Christian, but listen.
So Putin bombing Christian children on Palm Sunday is okay because Joe Biden for some reason and Donald Trump. You know that Putin blew up an American company. You know Putin blew up an American company last week, and Trump laughed about it and called Putin attractive.
Is there proof about that?
Yeah, Google it. You got Google.
Well, why don't you Google it and show you where your source is from?
You got Google.
The problem with you people, dude. The problem with you people on YouTube that say I don't support Trump and blah blah blah.
Okay, buddy. Okay, I'm gonna type it in. Palm Sunday. Okay, Palm Sunday. Wait.
You never back up the claim.
Wait. I googled Palm Sunday bombs in Russia. I know you're too brain dead and stupid to do that. Okay, Palm Sunday.
No, you're
bombs
fuck
Russia.
you, dude.
No. Okay, so you can Google, right? I want you to Google later on today, and I think you're gonna do a good job. I think you can hit the keyboard. You're not gonna even hurt yourself. So here's a video. Here's 34 dead, 120 injured after Russian missile attack on Palm Sunday. So that's one article. So we can go back to Google and type it in again. We can see CBS reported on it today, The Sun, CNN, a bunch of different, even Fox News reported on this. Okay. So you can Google in 5 seconds these answers. You just don't know because you don't want to know.
Right. No, I want to know it. I just want you people who claim Trump is this and say you don't support Trump. I want you guys to back up what you're saying, not just make claims without proof.
Okay, so I just backed it up, right?
I don't know. I'm on the phone. I'm not watching the video right now.
I put it on screen. Everyone saw it. I put it on screen. Everybody saw it.
I'm not watching the damn screen. I'm on my phone.
I think it's really shitty. You want to excuse children getting killed and slaughtered by Putin.
I never did that, buddy. You're the one who's excusing it.
Okay, whose fault is it more so, Joe Biden or Vladimir Putin? The war.
It's Joe Biden for being weak. Joe Biden's fault for
So it's Joe Biden's fault that Vladimir Putin is murdering Christian children in Ukraine. White Christian children.
You're just like this other asshole on YouTube. Interrupts everything somebody says.
I'm having a conversation with you. It's okay.
Okay, I'm not done. Can you give me 5 seconds to explain?
Okay.
Can I talk? Please? Hello? You there?
Hello?
You still there?
Make your point.
Okay, my point is, Joe Biden's weak on everything. He was brain dead. He had to use pen to have all the stuff signed. He allowed 13 Marines and to be killed in Afghanistan. Was pulling out. He gave away a base that's away from an hour away from China, Badaron. I think it's called Badaron. I don't know the exact name, but it's a big base he gave away to China. If Biden had not been in office, Russia would never invaded in the first place.
How? What? Why? Why?
Because Joe Biden stole the 2020 election, and there's proof. And
Wait, that's why Putin
and Joe Biden's
invaded.
about to go to
Wait,
prison.
that's why Putin is killing Christian white Ukrainian children? Because
I'm
Biden
talking
stole the
about why
election?
he invaded Ukraine.
Okay, why is Putin? Okay, why is Putin sending missiles into the skulls of children right now? Why?
I don't know why. You tell me why.
Because
if you
he's
have
a
questions, you
murderous
have to have an
dictator
answer.
who wants to do land grabs around Russia.
And that's Trump's fault, like everything else. You damn
no,
liberal
Russia.
Democrats.
Okay, Trump's weak on Russia. He's a weak little baby bitch, but it's not his
You're
fault
weak.
necessarily.
You're a weak baby bitch, son.
I am. True. I don't get offended. You do.
You're
you get
just
offended.
you're just like this other guy.
It's really funny though.
on
The
YouTube.
Trumpers that call in get more offended than I ever do. You cry more than I ever do.
Oh, I'm not
I can
crying.
do
I'm
1,000
just-
shows. You're getting so big mad right now. Huge mad. Ultra large mad.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad. Are you mad?
Yeah, I'm actually mad that Trump will not criticize Putin shooting missiles into the skulls of Ukrainian children. Trump not criticizing that is kind of crazy. And Putin bombed an American company last week, and Trump did not criticize it. I mean, Trump might be dying right now. He hasn't been seen for like 5 days.
We all are dying right now. Don't you understand?
That's
When
so
we're born, we're
freaking
dying.
cool. That's so cool. That's such a good point.
Oh, you
Thank
want
for
Trump to
making that
die,
point.
huh?
Holy shit. No, I said
Well,
he might
Biden's
be.
Biden's already dead, buddy. He's
Oh,
already been
okay.
executed.
True.
He has clones. Don't you know that?
Well, Trump is close too,
Biden
right?
is- No. Biden does, though.
Wait, why does
You-
Trump not have clones, but Biden does? We have not seen Trump for 5 days.
No,
6
we
days.
saw him today. Yesterday, I saw him on a video playing golf with his granddaughter.
That
You
golf video was
liberal-
from weeks ago. That was from months ago.
You guys are liberals.
That was not a real
You guys
video.
are liberals. Oh, yeah,
Why has
right.
Trump not
Goodbye.
spoken to the media in 5 or 6 days? He always
Goodbye,
talks to the
liberal
media.
piece of shit.
Well, no, I mean, I'm just
Biden,
saying.
Biden didn't show up for weeks.
Why would... Okay, goodbye. He hung up. All right, so Joe Biden has clones. He's been executed. Trump does not. Okay, good. Never go full QAnon. Go full QAnon. Why not? Okay, 42 likes. We need 100 likes. We have 600 viewers. All right, drop more likes on the stream. Please donate to Draw Politics on Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo. If you want to support liberal, independent media, you are the only way this channel survives. All right, there's a coffee link in chat, or Draw Politics on Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo. Hit subscribe as well. Become a member on Patreon. I really need some patrons, okay? Draw Politics on Patreon as well in my channel description, in my video descriptions. Thank you so much. Okay, let's do some more calls. Fine. Shout out to the Vanguard for doing the work that really matters, doing left infighting while I'm doing this bullshit. And these other lefties are out here getting paid millions to do low-level slop bullshit, bro. It's crazy. All right, no call, no answer. What are we looking at here? Hello?
Hello.
Howdy, what's up?
Hi.
Howdy, you're live.
So, did you say something about Trump is dying?
He seems to be really unhealthy right now. He hasn't been seen for like 5 or 6 days. He seems really slow. He keeps forgetting where he is. He's not in a good place. There's a lot of questions about that right now. Everyone's asking.
Do you know who started that?
What?
The story of him dying. Do you know who started
JD
that?
Vance. I think JD Vance started it. I think JD Vance is going to kill Trump so he can become vice president.
No, the Russian media started that. So you're spreading Russian propaganda. But
That's
yet
not
you don't
true at
like
all.
Russian
I mean,
propaganda. It is.
yeah, okay.
If you Google it, you can Google it on your show. Just type it in. It's from the Russian television about 5 days ago. It's Russian propaganda. You don't even know you're spreading.
The fact Trump has not been seen for 6 days and he has not spoken to the media at all. That's what I'm basing it
No,
off
you
of.
said the last. No, you said the last caller. You said he was dying. That's Russian propaganda. You
It's
are
called a
literally
meme,
spreading
sir.
Russian propaganda.
It's
No,
called
it's
a
Russian
meme, sir.
propaganda.
Karen. It's a meme, Karen. It's a meme.
Do you
So Trump
do
has
you
not been
research
seen.
things
Trump has
before you
not
say
been.
things?
Trump has not been seen for 6 days, and he seems very weak and frail. He's had that bruise on his hand from the IV for quite a while now, right? You know that big bruise on the hand he's had. And yeah, now
Don't
he
try to
has not
change
spoken
the
to the media for
subject.
a long time. Well, respond to the points I'm making.
Google it. Google it.
Russia,
Put it
Russia,
on your
Russia.
screen.
Respond
Google
to the
it.
points I'm making. Respond to the points I'm making.
I'm saying you're spreading Russian propaganda and you're moving the goal
Can you
line.
respond to the points I'm making, or you have to
Can
keep
you
on just saying
respond that
Russian
you're spreading
propaganda?
Russian propaganda?
Russia,
That's what
Russia,
you're
Russia,
spreading?
Russia, Russia, Russia. Respond to the
That's
points
what-
I'm making.
Oh, Joey, that's what you're saying,
Can
dude.
you have a conversation with me?
I'm having a conversation. You're not admitting that you're spreading Russian propaganda.
I'm spreading Russian propaganda.
When
All
you
right,
can
now let's have
easily
a conversation.
Google it. Just Google it for your viewers to see.
Are you gonna have a conversation with me?
I want you to Google it.
Okay. Sir, that is Russian propaganda, sir. Sir, I cannot respond. That is Russian propaganda. The IV mark on his hand was Russian propaganda. What is this guy doing? Oh. A lot of crazy ones here. Huh. Please drop a like. I have 64 likes. We're waiting for a lover to answer the phone.
Your call has been forwarded.
Okay. All right. No more people are calling. Call the phone number if you want to have a chat.
You're just making an argument to get money from the Democratic Party.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Crazy. This is,
I mean,
Gotta organize my retirement account.
did you have the part also where we don't need to play it, but the
From the Democratic Party, yes. 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 How's it going, guys? How's it going in the chat? Donnie's speech. Nice. We have the... DEI is a sin.
Next question. Disagreements welcome, and that was quite a dialogue.
So this video right here is oh wait, I got more callers. Okay, 1 second. Hey, this
Hello?
is the YouTube politics thing. What's up?
You tell me what's up. You talk about Trump bruising and how nobody's seen him for all these days, right?
Yeah, it's been like 5 or 6 days. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, I'm up in age, and then when I hit my arm on something, I bruise really easy, and I keep the bruise for weeks at a time, man. I mean, get to your point. I mean, you're all coming out with these conspiracy theories that Trump's dead or he's sick and senile. I'm not even a
Well,
Trump
he's
fan.
probably senile.
No, wait a minute. I'm
He's
not
always
even a
been
Trump
senile,
fan.
though. He was senile at birth.
Okay, well, yeah, that's in your eyes, okay? But truthfully, dude, you guys all got this propaganda crap going on. Look at the Democrats, man. I mean, I used to be a Democrat. Now I'm just independent because you people have lost your freaking mind, man. You're all nuts.
Thank you. Okay, so what is
No,
your
I'm
main
just
malfunction?
pinpointing.
Thank
No,
you
I'm
so
just
much,
pinpointing-
Devin, for becoming a patron. Thank you so much. Tier 3.
No, I'm not. No, see, you want to cut people off because they come out and they
No,
say
I got a
the truth,
donation.
man.
No. Okay, so did you see the bruise on Trump's hand? How big it is, and the IV marks?
Yeah, and I got the same thing going on with me, man. I'm up in my 60s,
Did you see
man.
his ankles?
It does. Mine are like that too, man. It
Okay,
comes
yeah,
with
yeah.
old age, dude.
Yeah,
it comes
yeah.
with
Okay.
old age, dude. Look at your grandmother.
Yeah, I know. I've been around old people for sure.
Okay,
100%.
then
Yeah.
why are you trying to make a bruise on his leg into something that ain't?
Okay, so when Trump says something like the tariff numbers are $8 trillion and other countries are giving us free money, that makes me think he's senile because no cognitive human being can say that with a straight face.
What do you mean? You know, there was a president at one time that you knew there was a president at one time that used tariffs to run the country.
Yeah, back when we had the Great Depression.
Now we're coming to
Hey, yo, shout out Great Depression. Shout out Great Depression. That was a good time. We should go back to those policies. I agree.
Yeah.
Good point. Good argument.
Yeah. Oh yeah, great argument. You guys all forget this. Like you think nobody has social media, nobody hears things, nobody sees things. You think that everybody's going to listen to you, and you're God's truth.
No. The point of my show is actually debating people on politics. It's actually the main recognition here is that people don't agree with me because I'm debating people, right?
Yeah, you're not debating. You don't. When you get to a point where you don't like what somebody says, you cut them off and say, "Oh, he hung up." I watched you.
Well,
man.
you're just having a bitch fit right now. We could talk about a real topic though.
No. I know. I'm pinpointing what you're doing, man.
You're pinpointing.
Exactly what you do. Exactly what all you.
Okay,
all
let's
you
talk about
liberal
something.
Democrats do.
Okay, let's talk about something.
I don't want to talk about nothing.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's all you gotta say. You don't want to talk about anything. We know. That's why you're doing this whole tirade thing. That's why you're doing a bitch fit. That's why you're doing a bitch fit.
No,
you can't have a conversation. Yep. Keep going.
No.
Keep going. This is what you liberals do. All right.
No.
All right. Let me make a phone call. I'll make a phone call real quick.
Show. I'll have to sit here and listen to you tell me how Trump's this, Trump's that. I'm not even a Trump fan.
Yeah, I bet you're not. I'm not.
I'm not.
If
I
you
wasn't
think,
a Biden fan either. Biden was an idiot.
Okay, so are you in support of Trump's tariffs?
Yes.
Are you in support of Trump's border policy?
I'm in support of his tariffs. I'm also in support of his no tax on tips.
What about his border policies?
No tax on 100%.
What about his tax bill? What about the big beautiful bill?
Yes.
Okay, so you love everything he does.
Let me ask you a question. Was you in support of anything that Biden did?
Anything? Not anything. I could say which bills I liked.
I believe you guys were in favor of everything he did. From the start of the propaganda. Yeah, everything.
Like what?
I believe y'all were in. Man, you guys loved him.
Like what?
And then you wanted to put.
What did I love?
You talk about. Wait a minute. You guys talk about democracy, right?
Yeah.
Who
sure.
voted for Kamala Harris to be put in for president?
The delegates at the Democratic National Convention. The democratically elected delegates. Yeah.
Don't even go there.
It's
there
like
was
the House works in the
no,
Congress. Yeah,
no,
it's a
no,
congressional
they
type of thing.
Installed her. No, they
okay,
installed
wait.
her. Bullshit.
Wait. I want to have this conversation
Bullshit.
really quick. Do you know how it works? Do you know how it actually works? You said you're old. Can you learn new things?
Yeah, and you're stonewalled.
Okay, how does
man.
it actually work? Do you know how it works at the convention?
Dude, she was at.
Wait, hey, can you regulate? Hey, buddy, I know you're emotional right now. I know you're emotional.
Dude,
but do you know how it works?
You're not gonna play that game.
You don't know how shit works, do you? You don't know how it works. Okay, at the convention.
Dude, they didn't even have a convention.
buddy. Yes, they did. They had to look up the Democratic National Convention. It did happen. It's a thing that happened.
They didn't have one.
Google it. It's literally okay.
They didn't have one. They didn't have one.
They had one.
They didn't have one.
They literally had one.
You can't pull that crap with me, buddy. They didn't have one.
I can't pull the reality. I can't pull what happened.
They sit there and they talk about how
I can't use facts on you. This is why
democracy.
Trump won. You guys are a little numbnutted.
No.
So wait.
No. Trump won because you guys are knuckleheads.
No, I think it's because you can't even have a conversation without sounding like a lunatic, and you just voted for the same type of dude.
You all say that.
Wait,
that 81
I'm just
million
talking about some chill.
Biden.
I'm trying to chill. I'm trying to have a conversation.
No.
You're just rampaging.
No,
Are you
ain't having
Are you
a conversation.
intoxicated,
you want
sir?
A one-way street,
Are you
buddy.
intoxicated?
You
No, I can go both ways.
I don't
I can be
drink, buddy.
bisexual on this
drink.
bitch. Okay, wait.
I
So,
don't drink. I don't do drugs.
okay, you probably
no.
should then. You probably should.
No,
Okay, so
no, maybe,
calm. I can't. Okay, buddy. If we can't have a
maybe
conversation,
you
I can't
should
talk to you.
Maybe
You're making your side look bad.
Stop spreading propaganda,
Chill.
buddy.
I'm not spreading propaganda.
No.
The Democratic
Yes, you
National
are.
Convention happened, and at that convention,
No, it didn't. Nobody voted for Kamala to even run for or for president. I'm sorry to tell you that, but nobody did.
Can I please like just explain how the process works to you really
Wait,
quick?
you
with
don't
you being
like when
quiet.
somebody takes control of your show, do you?
No, you just don't want to listen to facts.
You don't
like
when
facts.
somebody
You're a little
overruns
bitch.
you with their
You're a little
voice, do
bitch.
you? No.
You're a little bitch.
See,
No,
I'm the
you can't
bitch
listen to other
now.
people talk. You can't
No,
be quiet for
don't
5
know.
seconds.
This
You
is
can't be
what
quiet
you
for
do
5
to
seconds.
everybody.
Can you be quiet for 5
This is
seconds?
what
Can you
you
be
do
quiet?
to
Can you be quiet for
everybody,
5 seconds? Can you be quiet for 5
No,
seconds? Let me
'cause
talk.
This is what you do to everybody. Why don't
Okay.
you hang up on me? You can't deal with me?
No, I won't hang up on you.
You can't deal with me because I'm telling you damn God's honest truth, buddy. You can't deal with it. You want to run it, man, but you don't want to have it come around and hit you.
Are you offended by my conversation style?
No, I'm not offended by.
Yeah, you are. You're whining.
Aw,
Aw, little baby gotta cry. Oh, you're mad about my stupidity.
By your stupidity.
You gotta calm
You are
down,
the most
honey.
ignorant person I've seen on the
Please.
internet
Oh, yes,
so far.
I'm so ignorant. Please, honey, please.
Yes, you are.
Please.
You're the most ignorant person I've
buddy.
ever seen on these talk shows, man.
Oh, man. I'm the most ignorant.
Oh,
Oh,
what?
shit.
I got your goat, dude. I got your goat. You can run and sit there and act like a little girl. I don't care.
You're the one that can't stop
you couldn't
talking.
even tell me, what's
You're the
a
one that
woman?
can't stop
What's
talking.
a woman, man? What's a woman, man?
Okay, so at
You
the
believe in
Democratic National
transgender, don't
Convention,
you?
everyone
You believe
elects
in
delegates
transgenderism, don't
nationwide,
you?
and when you elect
You
delegates
you
for the
got
Democratic
pronouns,
Party,
dude?
those delegates are
I'm
those
not
delegates
listening
now
to that
represent you
because
in the
she
party.
didn't
So
have
those
one,
delegates,
dude.
which are your elected representatives,
Blah,
those
blah,
delegates
blah,
vote at the
blah.
Democratic
That's
National
all I hear from
Convention,
you.
and then at the convention, when the delegates vote, that person becomes the candidate. Even in systems where
Blah,
people do
blah,
vote on the
blah,
candidate in a
blah.
primary, the
Blah,
delegates are still the
blah,
people who cast
Man,
the
that's
final
all I
ballots
hear
at the
from you.
convention. Thank you for the
That's
call.
all I hear.
I hope your
Blah,
transition
blah,
goes well.
blah,
I hope your
blah.
transition goes well. Okay, let's see. Let's see. We got that one. I am so ignorant. Oh shit. I am ignorant, that's true. Thank you again, Devin, for becoming a patron. Like I said before, my fundraising is moving towards Patreon, mostly, guys. So if you are a member here and you just want to donate, go to Patreon or do the cheapest tier on here and donate the rest on Patreon. I'm gonna do most of my fundraising on Patreon from now on because I'm doing it across platforms. And next week, starting next week. Hello.
Hello.
Howdy. What's
Hi. Did you hear about the new missile program?
up? For what?
Trump's initiating this new missile program. Military.
For where?
Did you hear about it? It's like an intercontinental type missile building. Did you hear about it at all? Do you want me to like inform you about it and talk about it, or?
I know we are spending like $1 trillion on the military. I don't know about the direct missile program, unless we mean the Golden Dome defense system.
No, that's completely different. So I'll explain it for you, and then we could discuss it. So it's this missile that knows where it is basically, at like every step of the way, and it knows this because it knows where it wasn't before, and then obviously by subtracting from where it is from where it isn't, it obtains a difference or a deviation. You following me?
Yeah.
Okay, so the guidance subsystem uses those deviations to generate corrective commands to drive the missile from a position from where it is to a position from where it isn't.
Cool. 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 Hello.
Hello.
Howdy. What's up?
Hey, what's up, dude?
Much. How are you?
I'm good. Just checking on you. A couple, I think a week ago we were talking, and thought the conversation was pretty good. I've been watching your page for a while now. Just want to see how you're doing, you know?
I'm doing all right. It's going.
I saw your TikTok page. I don't have TikTok, but I got it after after we talked, and that's pretty neat. Like you have like a lot of traction. That's pretty interesting. It's just like kind of like your full time, like you're just like kind of like a hobby.
Yeah, it's just a hobby. I do pretty well when I have a chance to post.
What's that look like? Or do you not like to disclose that kind of stuff?
What does what look like?
Or like income wise, that like is it pretty sweet?
No, not at all. I probably make, for how many hours I do this, I probably make around, I want to say I make between 10 to 15 bucks an hour. So it's good for making videos. It's still money for talking about politics. But yeah,
I
it's
guess
nothing
like
crazy.
I mean, that's not bad.
I only do that. I only make that because of donations, though. If I didn't get donations, it'd be like $5 an hour.
YouTube doesn't pay for like live streams.
Barely. If I have a good YouTube stream with like 300 viewers or 400 viewers the whole time, I probably get paid $4, $5 for ad revenue.
Okay, that seems like pretty low. That's weird.
I do shorts content.
Yeah.
It's vertical content.
Hey, shorts. I know that they don't really pay a whole lot for shorts.
Yeah, they don't.
But I know like long form videos. I thought that like at least if they were in like certain genres, they pay out like at least. Just
well, I can't post all my videos because I stream for 4 hours and I can't edit it. I don't have an editor. I can't afford an editor. So.
What would be? You can't just like just like chop it up yourself and just like upload and just see what happens, or is that just not how? It would like
yeah, I don't have time to even do that. I mean, that is making sure picking which conversation I want to do is hard. Picking which conversation I feel like I did good enough in, that's good content. And yeah, it's hard to know what I want to put out there. So yeah.
There's no like AI programs that can just do it for you.
I don't know, and they cost money too if you want to. It's like $20 a month, $30 a month. So
yeah, I pay for an AI program that does like PDF stuff. It's like really insane, but it's like $20 a month. But it's kind of been like one of those things where it's like it's kind of been worth every penny for what I use it for.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, what's up? Were you calling in about anything political or?
No, I just want to say hi, kind of.
Oh yeah, yeah, I appreciate it.
No, we had a funny. I don't know if you remember. We had a pretty good conversation, I think. But I don't know. I've been thinking about it for like a long time. But yeah, I don't know. Thought it was pretty good. Wanted to say like that, you kind of fall into like definitely like the category there. Do you know who like Dean Withers is?
Yeah, I think he's very immature and not very effective.
Yeah, so what I was gonna say to that is like he's like, popular. I only heard of him through a something he did or whatever, but I don't know. There's a lot of people like who are in your class. I think you kind of sort of deviate from that in that kind of way. They're way more quick for like ad hominem attack and like character attacks and that kind of thing. So, I would say at least out of your bunch, I think I think you're on the right track.
Well, like I'm the only one in this space at all. I mean, there's some I'm sure, but in terms of people who grew up in red areas, I grew up in a 95% white, 80% Trump area. So I've had to deal with people from different backgrounds my entire life. I've had to deal with these conversations forever. So. I don't get offended very easily. I'm also not in any groups to get offended, to be fair. But regardless, I can approach it from a ball busting perspective. Even if I do personal attacks, I usually try to do it with a little bit of I don't know, a playfulness in a sense that you can get on a construction site. Because I grew up in that setting, working like maintenance jobs or whatever. Like I just saw that kind of stuff. But these people, like Dean and all them. They got rich at a very young age. They've gotten to meet the president of the United States of America, to meet multiple presidents, maybe like Barack Obama as well, go to fancy dinners, have millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, whatever it might be. And they don't have a guiding principle for anything. So if someone tells them like, oh, you're doing a microaggression, you have to apologize right now, they're just going to do it. They're not going to question if they're right or not, because you have to question all of that stuff and have a reason for like why you talk about what you talk about. And an actual like central point that you want to build power off of, or a goal you have. But they really do just like They have these breakdowns, and I'm like, I don't know if it's, I don't know if they're mentally capable of having these big platforms at this age, or I'm not sure if it's beneficial for them to be doing it in the way they are, at least.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the age thing is a big thing. Like, I don't know how old you are.
I'm 25, so I'm not. But I had I went through a lot of traumatic stuff growing up. I saw addiction, I saw alcoholism, I saw broken homes, I saw suicide very close to me. So I was forced to grow up at a very, 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 very young age. When you're told you're the man of the household at like, yeah, I was told I was the man of the household at like 12. You know, it's just stuff that shapes the way you view the world. You meet some. Yeah, I mean, I was still pretty mature at 22, but I was still, I'd say, too immature. And they definitely are. They definitely have not seen enough of the world. So.
Yeah, I feel you. My dad died when I was 13, and like I'm 28 now. Tried to go to college, but like,
loser. I was 10. Haha.
It's too bad, dude. But like, I bet you, at least how I think about it is like that's one of like the most pivotal and like most important moments of my life. I kind of look back at it not like in a way where it's like, yeah, of course I wish like he was still alive, but it's like at the same time, it's like, I would not be the man who I was today. I'm sure that you wouldn't be either, because as a 25-year-old, you're definitely at the cutting edge comparatively, absolutely. But like, yeah, I think Dean is 20 or something. I know when I was 20 years old, I was nothing like I am now, and I have a lot of regrets when I was 20. So it's like, I wonder how they're gonna like cope and reconcile like all the stuff they put online, which like most of it's like, I don't know, kind of on chill.
Yeah, it's difficult to sort through, and you're always gonna be cringing looking back at yourself, the way you dressed, the way you looked. Some people hit a peak eventually, and they just stay there, and they don't have like a period they regret doing. But yeah, it's hard right now too because there's no guidance in the party. There's no pivotal leader or a set of leaders. It's pretty scattered. Then you have like Dean, which are the liberal side. Then you have further left creators, who are the biggest emotional dipshits in the world, like Hassan and a bunch of them, where they have no care in the world about political power building. And like for myself, I've seen the threats of losing Medicaid. Like I've seen the threats of losing these services, and it can still affect me and people I hold close. So these rich assholes don't know that, so they don't really care that much. I don't think.
Yeah, that sounds pretty tough, and that's actually like I guess I did have kind of a question, but it's like there's like, so I feel like in terms of. And I don't think this existed, and you probably like remember the same time periods that I did, but like I pretty much like kind of started paying attention to politics in 2016, like kind of like right at the end of like Obama's term and then like the beginning of Trump's term. Like that's kind of like when I was of age and like had any sort of like reason to be engaged in like the political process of like America, more or less. But like I it just, you tell me I'm wrong, but it just was not as like divisive as it is like since that point.
No, even like political violence skyrocketed once Trump came into the political scene. It was down for many years since the 60s and 70s and 80s, and then at all-time low. Then Trump, it shot right back up after Trump.
But even that, and like that being said, like I know that like a lot of people didn't agree with Bush. And a lot of people didn't agree with Biden. I don't know why, because I just didn't look through those time periods. I just understand. It's like, okay, I'm sure people did, but like and maybe it's also because the emergence of the internet kind of was at the same time, like the proliferation of like all these like creators and content creators, kind of maybe have added to it. But what I'm getting at is like right now, every like left-leaning influencer and right-leaning influencer are just like so hard pressed. Like I'll give you an example. It's like. This is what I hate about like right-wing influencers is like when some like thing that like is clearly like stupid that happens, like the Epstein list thing, for example, right? And it's like you can't say that like this was like a complete fumble and like you can't admit that like because you're just like on that side. I don't get it. I don't get that at all.
No, that's a religion.
It just doesn't make any sense to me. But at the same time, like there's like also like left-leaning influencers who like have no. Like they're so strict that like they can't even off like an olive branch, It's like it's really like it's just mind-boggling. And I really think that the person or the people that like should emerge if they want to like be like really politically influential are people who should have like the depth of understanding that each side has, and it is like the middle ground for each. But I don't think that like anybody's like really filling that position. I don't know why that is.
There's no right now we're having a true struggle between democratic institutions and authoritarianism in America. So everything's going to feel weird. It's not going to make much sense. You're going to have like George Bush being in favor of institutions and Mike Pence joining up with Liz Cheney and Joe Biden and whatever, talking about the Constitution and all that kind of stuff. Then you have Trump and all these other people who are against American democracy and institutions. So it's going to be weird where the parties fall. So if you look at like RFK, you look at Tulsi Gabbard, who is a clear asset of a foreign government. Like that's not even disputable. You can say like certain politicians are bad for us, and I would agree that I don't prefer like a Hillary. Obviously, I prefer an AOC for sure. But they both agree we should maintain institutions in America and democratic institutions. Now, Trump hates Congress, hates courts, hates anything, hates due process. He wanted to suspend the Constitution after 2020 and seize voting machines. He tried maintaining power through a coup, which no one cares anymore because he did such a cultural gaslighting, and Joe Rogan helped and all that bullshit. And we have to... We've been in good times, stable times for a very long time. All right, this is the peak of humanity, probably around 2016, and people got bored of it and they wanted something more exciting, more radical, more revolutionary. It wasn't because there were material conditions that got so much worse. It was because of mostly cultural changes. Trump won because of cultural anxiety among white Americans, mostly, especially evangelicals. So it's hard to parse that with a lot of it's not rational thought. So you'll make yourself crazy trying to rationalize with people. It's more of an emotional state. It's a primitive emotional state. That's where fascism thrives, when people think like dumb apes, and they're like, we should be killing all the drug dealers with no due process because they put poison. It's just like it's not thinking put the military in to solve all the crime. That's how you get authoritarianism, and people just don't think right now, and the internet's not helping. So how do you fix that? I don't freaking know.
Yeah, I'll say like, and again, I would say like I would consider myself like a little bit like right of center, maybe, and like, yeah, I mean, again, like, those are all opinions, and and a lot of them, like the one thing I would say that I agree with you with 100% is like, it's like you have, I always look at things as like, okay, if this decision is made, the precedents that set it, so it's like or somebody might argue like, yeah, if the National Guard is going to be deployed to this city, it's like, well, there is a crime problem, and like they should do it. But it's like, okay, but then what happens with the second city, and then what happens? You know what I'm saying? So it's like DC had a crime problem, and like they've run the National Guard. You can feel one way or the other about it, but at the end of the day, it's like that just creates a bad precedent. Like politics in general, it's all about the precedents. It's all about like once you
it's normalizing it, yeah.
Right, you're normalizing it too, But I also would say that happens on both sides of the house.
Yeah, it's just the radical levels. The radical fringes on the left are 5% of the party. The radical fringes on the right are 90% of the party. That's the big issue right now, is that the radical right-wingers are the ultra-nationalists who are against American government. Like the whole thing about like the federal government's going to come in and do things the local government says no to. And the Republican Party right now with the National Guard is doing that more than any administration in American history. They are against states' rights more fiercely than anyone. And D.C. residents don't want it. I know people who live in D.C., they hate this. They feel unsafe. They don't want to see these unidentified federal agents walking around beating up immigrants. Like no one wants that at all anywhere near these areas.
Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that.
And why not just fund law enforcement? Why not fund, if you really want to fund police, that it would make sense, sure. But they don't want to fund police. They don't want to advocate for community safety. They don't want to prevent crime. They want excuses. They want disasters, and they want a reason for extreme national emergency powers to be authoritarian. That's why they don't focus on local law enforcement whatsoever. And they're more likely to call for them to be beat up and killed. They put a January 6th guy who beat up cops into a top Justice Department position, and no one gives a shit. People gouged cops' eyes out and tased them with their own tasers and beat them with American flagpoles and lead pipes in their own riot shields, and no Americans give a shit, or not enough. And that society cannot survive. That was an attempted freaking coup. It was. It's just no one cares. And even if you don't think it was a coup and you don't think Trump was responsible, the pardons and calling them heroes and giving Ashley Babbitt, that scum, an honorable military burial is insane. It's just crazy.
This is in like what was that, like to happen like 2020, right? January 6th was in 2020, right?
Yeah, well, 2020, technically 2021, but yeah, 2020 election.
Okay, yeah. So like, and again, like, kind of like right of center, but like, just didn't really pay attention to it because, I guess I'm in the military and like, I really really, you're not supposed to have any political views in the military, or I was in the military at the time. You're just not supposed to have any, military views. That's pretty much like a, part of the process. But like, did you see? So I didn't really think anything of it. I never think. That's why I never like really thought about politics. But did you see that thing in the news about how they requested? Did you see that guy on Twitter? I think he was like the prior chief of police in Washington D.C. And I think he said that he had requested Nancy Pelosi to deploy the National Guard, and she wouldn't do it.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Every single Trump supporter I've ever spoken to believes that Nancy Pelosi is responsible for. They think she was the, I don't know, in charge of that.
So what's that all about?
They just want to blame a Democrat. I mean, she's not in the chain of command whatsoever.
Okay, that's what it is.
The president, since D.C. is not a state, the president is in charge, or the Secretary of Defense if the president says so, or if the president does not take control, the Secretary of Defense can have some lead there. The Capitol Police are also, that's not Nancy Pelosi's job either. She was the Speaker of the House, but there's one video where she's like, I messed up on a video somewhere, so maybe she messed up. Assuming, and they clarified this, but assuming that Trump was not going to lead the mob to the Capitol, is where they probably messed up, not making it more of a public thing. But the idea that like Trump should not be responsible, but Nancy Pelosi was, it's just really weird. Like, even if she didn't bring enough National Guard there, why would that make it her fault? Anything that happened that day, it was still Trump who encouraged it and loved it and was happy and was smiling and who gave all them pardons and who still says the election was stolen with. And I don't even like to say zero evidence. He's openly calling for American elections to be done. When he says the 2020 election was stolen, he's advocating for elections to be no more in America. Putin, he trusts Putin's advice on mail-in ballots. Putin puts, the way he talks about Putin puts so many targets and bounties on the skulls of American troops. Putin loves when an American troop gets killed under Russian blood money. And Trump has nothing to say about him whatsoever, which is freaking crazy. All of it's crazy.
Yeah, I know there was, and like, I've had like, many friends who've deployed into different areas, and like, there are things that occur. There's Russian presence in like our battlefields, and that we can't do anything about.
A lot of proxies,
you're 100% correct on that, and that's just a sticky topic to get into. That's a weird topic. What do you think about the mail-in ballot process? Did you say that like Trump thinks that's a good thing? I didn't hear what you said. Or like, I don't know.
Putin told Trump that no other countries have mail-in ballots and we need to eliminate it in America.
Okay.
And then Trump came to America and said, hey guys, Putin told me mail-in ballots are not able to be trusted because no one has them. Now that's not true, obviously. None of it's true at all. Mail-in ballots are in like a majority of countries. What do you think about mail-in ballots?
Yeah.
So for mail-in ballots, we've seen no issues at all whatsoever of fraud. If there is fraud, it's been done by Trump supporters at a very minor level. It's not ever going to be enough to change an election ever anywhere. If it was, you'd have a lot of court battles over that, and you would find if there's any fraud, and it would not be counted in an official count. If there was somehow an election somewhere that was decided by 15 votes, you would know. It would be under so much scrutiny. There's no evidence at all, no evidence whatsoever of this mass voter fraud anywhere. Trump has nothing in court. He lost every court battle over it. Even on Joe Rogan, Joe was asking Trump multiple times, like, hey, dude, you have any information on this election being stolen? It's your main thing. And Trump had nothing, like 15 times. And Joe's like, hey, like one more time, like, hey, can you tell me how the election was stolen? And Trump was like, he just like, it just was. It just simply was. So yeah, there's no reason not to trust mail-in ballots. Another thing people need to understand is there is no reason, unless if you are insane, which is usually going to be on the right with the cult mentality. There's some people on the left for sure, but if you're insane on the left, you're not going to vote for a Democrat politician because you probably hate Democrats. But for you to risk a felony, to risk over one vote, especially when they say illegal aliens are voting in California, does anyone really think someone who is here illegally is going to risk being caught so they can go fake a ballot to do a mail-in vote, for Kamala Harris in a state she's going to win by 15%. Like, does anyone really think that makes any freaking sense? But Republicans repeat that shit over and over and over again, even for an American citizen. Why would you risk in any state? There's no state that's close enough to say, hey, buddy, I'm going to go risk my entire livelihood and go to prison over one vote that I can send in the mail somewhere. It's just, none of it makes sense. And and there's no proof for why we need election reform. That's why when people say like we need voter ID because it has a high approval rating, if that's what people want, it's whatever. But it's a manufactured crisis. I would not want to add more barriers to voting just because people were convinced. They were convinced not to trust the voting system. There was never any evidence for why they should not trust it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and like, you could be, so I don't really know the statistics, and you might have, like, all these studies probably have been conducted, like, can probably make sense. But the voter ID thing, I kind of agree with, and this, because it's like in the same vein, it's like, if I want to go buy beer, I got to show an ID. If I have to, like, do if I go on a plane, I can't go on a plane, right, and fly a state away without giving an ID. I don't really understand what is the problem with having a real ID insofar as voting is concerned. Well, how exactly does that create like a barrier?
So the problem is, historically, any barrier is another reason why a partisan government can try to deny you the right to vote. So in states with mail-in voting, for example, if they have very strict laws on signatures and your signature's slightly over the line when you fill out your mail-in ballot.
Sorry, I didn't catch what you said. What did you say preface with the signature thing?
So, like, if there's in red states that have mail-in ballots, they made laws so it's really hard to count mail-in ballots. If there's any, like, if you write a signature on a line to sign it and it's out of place, like it's underneath the line you need to sign it on a little bit, they found reason to throw out ballots of Democrats mostly, because mostly Democrats vote by mail, and they focus it in Democratic districts, and they will deny ballots based on these very, very small technical issues with mail-in ballots. So with like voter ID, the same thing can happen with many. And by the way, if you have a clean voter ID, so a clean bill would be something I would support, where any form of government ID would be valid. So a gun license, a fishing license, even a student ID. If you can have a law where any ID works at all, then I'd be fine with that. But what it is they want to give, what Republicans want to demand is a proof of citizenship. And they want to give like a birth certificate or a passport plus another form of identification, which is completely insane. So like in concept, I'm okay with having like, oh, you could bring an electric bill if you forget your ID. Like I think that's fine. But Republicans want to do it in a way that decreases voter turnout for Democrats.
What about just a driver's license?
Because people who don't have driver's licenses are going to be located in mostly urban areas, which are huge hubs of Democratic voters, and that's why Republicans vote for.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, so like in those areas, if you give free IDs to people, but like in those areas, if you could bring an electricity bill or a transit card or something that can prove your ID in another way, or even if you're a college student with no card.
State ID?
Which ID?
So actually, as soon as you said like in urban areas, like people don't have driver's license, like, and you're right. So I grew up in Chicago. I didn't get a license until I was 21. Yeah, 21. But what about but I did have a state ID.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, if they do a law where anything can count, that'd be cool. But Republicans and when you look at these laws, the Republican voter ID laws versus the Democrat bills, the Republican bills have all these different hoops to jump through, and that's on purpose to try and disenfranchise as many voters as possible, and especially black areas that vote highly Democratic. So that's one reason why. Like historically, poll taxes and with the Voting Rights Act, anything that is unnecessary for voting is seen as a infringement on your right to vote in America, and your right to freedom of speech. So any poll taxes, if you have to, like the thing with the citizenship requirement Republicans want to do, if a woman got married, she'd have to pay a fine or pay a fee to get her birth certificate reprinted or whatever in a different last name. So that's one of the big issues there. Is there's always a way Republicans want to use these laws to disenfranchise voters.
Yeah, the only thing I would say to that is I understand in some cases like an electric bill or certified mail that's going to your house proves that you live in an area, but it doesn't anybody can get an apartment more or less. That doesn't necessarily answer the mail as if you're a legit citizen, insofar as we see it as if you are a legit American more or less. So you know what I mean.
One thing to consider too, to get like a mail-in ballot, you need to scan your ID in most states. Like even in states that don't have like voter ID, you need to scan your ID to get the mail-in ballot, or you have to sign a paper to vote, and put your signature down. So there are ways to verify it that don't require these hoops, and that's why, it's like I'm trying to think of an analogy, but we know the failure rate is so low in the system. It's like the fraud rate in mail-in voting. There's nothing else in the world that has such a low fraud rate. It's actually quite amazing how well the system does work, because it's so we have so many different voting precincts and different counties and different state governments. It's all done at such a broad, wide level. It's really hard to do any fraud because you have so many people watching the process at all times. Democrats, Republicans, Independents, people work in the election offices. You have legal teams doing challenges all the time. It's one of the cleanest election processes in the entire world. And the fact that they want to make election laws that are going to restrict some people from voting and add more scrutiny to elections that it doesn't need, based off of the 2020 election being stolen, which is it's completely fantastical. It's completely insane. It's mania. It's a manic episode to even believe that, based off of any information. The fact that the changes are coming as a result of that is the scary part as well. Like, why are we having unnecessary bloated government for a problem that does not exist? It seems like the opposite of any liberalism or conservatism.
Well, I do agree that like lesser government is probably more necessary. But like, wait, so our mail-in votes, is that just like if I live in a state and like I don't want to go to a polling place, I'll just mail in my ballot? I've never done a mail-in voting thing. Is that what it is?
It depends on what state. So like you can have absentee voting, which you need a cause for, or
could it be like if you are a resident of like, you know, let's say South Carolina, and like you're temporarily living in North Carolina, you would send like a mail-in ballot to South Carolina while living in North Carolina.
Yeah, you could. You need to be registered in that location for a certain amount of time first. But yeah, you can hypothetically do that. And it was usually used for like military or if you're at college and that kind of stuff. And the process was never criticized then. But
well,
yeah,
I'll tell you what. There's a lot of people like if I like am living out of state and I do a mail-in ballot back to like my state, I can walk into a voting office and totally vote twice.
Okay, then you're gonna risk a felony. That's almost definitely gonna be caught. If there's any, and that's the thing though. Like, let's say you do that, and the election was won by 12 percentage points, then no one's gonna. Then maybe they don't find it, but it doesn't really matter in that scenario. But if it was a close race, they definitely find it. And who's gonna risk going to prison over that bullshit intentionally? It just seems kind of.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Like, and you're right. It is a felony, and like that would definitely bar you. You know, the only reason I say is I met one guy who was, you know, kind of a long timer, and he's like, I do that every election. And I was like, all right, well, you know,
nice.
I guess good luck with.
Well, he better hope there's never a close election. He better hope there's never a close one then.
Or like, right? I mean, it's like I was like, all right.
And I don't know how much I believe that, because usually if you have to, it depends on the state though. But you usually have to sign your name on a paper or something. But yeah.
Oh no, I'm sure. I don't know. Working in government, you also like kind of know that like a lot of things are just kind of dysfunctional, and it's like it's a tough problem to solve because like really the biggest barrier within like a lot of government organizations is the people that exist within them. There's just like too much friction points, and like people. I don't know, maybe I would say like they're maybe like underqualified to be in the position, but perhaps the position shouldn't be there in the first place. And so you just have to ask like a bunch of dumb questions and get like a bunch of approvals for things that like are not necessary, you know?
Well, that's usually a legislation issue. That's usually a Congress issue.
Yeah.
I mean, the deep state is a good thing, in my
It's
opinion.
a tough environment. It's a tough environment to you know, to work in any government, like, you know, any government.
I love the deep state.
Yeah. Yeah.
The deep state is mostly former military who work in government positions, which is kind of funny, but.
Well, they took that away, well, to some extent. So I think it was after like 2000. I don't know. Let's just throw a number out there. Like, let's just say after like 2010 or something like that. Like beforehand, like a lot of people would retire from the military and immediately like fill a general schedule position, like in like the general same apparatus that they retired out of. And then they worked in that position for a long time. And it might have been eliminated. You can look this up, but like, yeah, I'm not quite sure. But it was eliminated like a while ago. And now, like, if you retire or get off the military, you have to like spend at least like 2 years outside to then come work back in.
Yeah.
Like the university.
Well, the
But,
Trump
like,
plan. Yes, sir.
it was crazy. It was crazy. Like it was the Wild West. Like people would like literally like their last 3 years in the military would like just create a position that needed to be filled by a GS, and then would just like get up and be like, hey, I'm here, I can do it.
Yeah, but I think that's fine in some sense. I'd rather more hands than too few hands. And we have a lot of abundance of money and resources in America. We have people doing jobs like casinos and sports and all this stuff because we have extra funding and extra money. We can use it in better places for sure, but I don't really mind having someone have a cushy job after they retire. Or if they want to work in the I mean, it depends on what the position is. And the federal government right now, like we're cutting programs that are really good. Like we're cutting programs from cancer research and Alzheimer's research, and VA labor over the next 4 years is going to be slashed in a huge number. And the goal of the Trump admin is to kill the federal government and to privatize all of it. That's the Project 2025 stuff. And I don't. Yeah. I wanna. Let's see here. I appreciate the call. Yeah. I'll just say for Trump. To watch out for whenever there's a president who calls like Putin a hero or says Putin has a good point about our elections being stolen, or one of our elections in 2020 was fake and there were people that beat up cops and we pardoned them, and now we need to listen to Putin to fix our elections, and maybe we don't need elections anymore, and we need to sign this bill that gives my Department of Justice power over seizing voting machines, whether legal or not legal. That person is trying to accumulate authoritarian total power in a system, and we need to be very, very wary of that. And that's again why even far right politicians are against Trumpism, because they kind of realize what that means for a country. If our country falls to authoritarianism, no one's safe. It doesn't matter how left or right you are.
No, I agree with you 100%. Yeah, the one thing I would say too is this is our second time talking, man. Really enjoyed the conversation. If I can give you one piece of advice, then you don't have to take it, but everything we talked about was great. But I know your goal is to enlighten people to the best that you can. And I think there's just 2 points in the conversation that I might would maybe not do, because a lot of people cannot keep a level head when they're talking about this kind of stuff. And it's one of them was, I think you said 90% of mental health issues were in the right party, or the right in Republicans. That could be absolutely true.
In this conversation, did I say that?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I said the radical fringe of the left is 5% of the Democratic Party, but it's 90% of the Republican Party. I didn't say mental illness. I meant
yes.
The crazies, as in they're the radicals. Yeah.
You're correct. But if I was somebody who's I'm far right, MAGA, and we're having a conversation, as soon as that kind of thing gets said to me, I'd be freaking out. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree with you. I'm sorry. I agree with you. But if someone right now is super supportive of what Trump is doing, I think they need years to be de-radicalized like a cult member. I really do think if you're Trump is saving America right now with tariffs and whatever else, I don't know if I care about reaching that person. It's really difficult.
But so I would say this though, all you got to do in that case is just you got to plant the seed.
I agree.
Plant the seed. It's all about if you do too much of this person's I can't. There's nothing I do for this person. It's that's you totally anybody can. You know what I mean? So it's just I call it the erosion theory. It's you just get a little bit in there, and over time, you plant the seed. We talked, and I had my political views one way, and we had an hour-long conversation, and I've been thinking about it for a couple weeks, and it's all right, yeah. I don't know. I want to talk again.
Yeah, I got you. It depends what kind of mood I'm into, because I'm usually in my normal temperament, I'm very on point with that, but it's hard when you're talking on a camera for 4 hours on the internet with people yelling stuff at you. I don't know if you heard the old guy earlier who just talking over me the whole time. I'm you're having a bitch fit. You're having a bitch fit. At that point, I'm just I'm having fun. At that point, where it's that guy's just gonna break my head and hurt my head. So yeah, it's difficult
Sure.
to weave in and out of those conversations for sure, and that does make up a lot of MAGA. It is most of the Republican Party now, at least proud Republicans. Now, a Trump voter that's an independent, that identifies as independent, I think they're gettable for sure. But yeah, I'll try to plant seeds. Maybe I can plant seeds so they don't go for the full authoritarian dictatorship. But at the point of defending Ghislaine Maxwell, if you're at the point where you're defending one of the most horrific sex traffickers of all time, I don't know if any seeds can save you. But I appreciate it.
You never know. And then like also at the same time, it's like also, and I think I caught the last of the conversation. It's like, I know it kind of got heated at the very end. It's like, you can never let them get the best of you. It's like, okay, whatever. Like, it is what it is. You're a grown man. You never let anybody else make you get heated for for something that is not that really consequential, like in the grand scheme of life. And I only say that because again, I think that you're doing it right comparatively like a lot of these other people online.
It's not easy, I'll tell you what, but I will take being first place. Well, they would just call him a Nazi. They would just say that he's a white supremacist, evil, racist Nazi, and I don't usually call people that kind of stuff. So I just call them stupid as shit.
In the first minute and a half of the conversation, pretty much, that's like pretty much what they kind of go.
Like I barely use the word racist ever. I don't use the word microaggression. I don't use those gay ass words. I use the man words, like you're a dumbass and a jackass. Those words get the point across much better.
Yeah, I think your intentions are good. Like I said, we don't necessarily agree 100%, but I think your intentions are good and you're worthwhile to have a conversation with. So. Have a great night, and I'll probably call you in like a week.
All right, I appreciate it, man. You have a good one as well.
You too.
Yeah. Wow, thank you for. See, that guy doesn't know it, but I was planting seeds in him that entire conversation. He's full of my seed right now. Like he is full of my seed, and it's gonna grow someday. He does not even know it, but he is full of my seed. Don't get it twisted. All right. Okay, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Please become a patron, okay? I have a Patreon. I'm going to be streaming on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, all the streaming apps, all right? And I want to have a central point for fundraising. Patreon is by far the best place to do it. I'm going to start doing daily shout-outs of all my paid Patreon members. So anyone that pays on Patreon... and joins my Discord, you're gonna get in the VIP chat, all right, which will be useful if I ever blow up someday and get famous. You can be in my VIP chat on Discord, and I'll talk to you as my best friend. I'll even call you my best friend. But if you're a paid member on Patreon, I'll read your name out before every stream and after every stream, starting at the end of this week. So if anyone has the chance, and what I said before, if you're like a tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3 sub on YouTube, for the YouTube membership, I'd recommend downgrading to the $3 supporter tier on YouTube, the cheaper one, and doing another one on Patreon to support the channel's function. All right, full of my seed, lol. Thanks. Yeah, true. Tomorrow, thank you, channel members as well. Tomorrow, I'm doing a debate panel. Excuse me. This debate panel, I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know if it's going to be a debate or what it's going to be. The debate lineup is pretty much me, counterpoints, Connor points. All right, he's in online spaces. It's going to be Hutch. Hutch is another YouTuber, pretty big, former gaming YouTuber. There's going to be a couple smaller persons, one person named Corbin, one person named No Echo, all right? They're really small. And also Destiny, all right? The omniliberal Destiny is going to be on this panel. So I'm not sure what the conversation is going to be about money and politics and stuff like that. I don't know anything about Pisco. Is he doing it? I don't think so. Someone said Pisco based. Did Pisco do something? Did Pisco do something? What? Who mentioned Pisco? Pisco made you. Yes, Pisco made me. The smaller channel made me. Yes. Exactly. Oh yeah, by the way, Pisco's been on huge streams and channels. I have not been on any of that. I have not been platformed by any famous person whatsoever or bigger creator other than Hutch. So, when I do, I don't know what my positions are going to be. It's about that Taylor Lorenz article, but they're all liberals on the panel, so they're going to be pretty pro-Democrat. It's going to be more of a strategy conversation. I'm definitely, I'm kind of populist, but I'm also very center, so it's tough. I don't know. 78-year-old Congressman Jerry Nadler decides to not seek re-election. Said Biden fiasco showed a need for generational change. That's cool. It is the dark money. Is it going to be about dark money in general, maybe? About just in general what my approach is towards dark money in politics? What does dark money mean, maybe? Maybe it's a debate on what dark money means in politics. Thank you so much, Elle, for joining as a supporter on Patreon. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, patron. My patron for 1 minute. Thank you so much for joining Patreon. Thank you so much. What's going on there? Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I guess I'll do another phone call. Maybe. Possibly. Oh, thank you. L pledged $9 per month. How nice of you. Thank you. All right. Should I do one more? I'll do one more. I'm tired. I'll check and see if one more is going to be worth it. If not, I have the panel tomorrow. I need to prepare for that. I have to set up my setup a little bit. Hopefully tomorrow night can be good for me when it comes to audience as well. I am thinking of a good opening statement. I'm not good at interjecting on panels with 8 people. I'm bad at that. All right, but I gotta go hard. I was gonna call out some content creators. I was gonna call out Crystal Ball and the Vanguard and Hassan and Kyle Kalinske for fun, just for funsies. Let's debate Democrats owning massive stocks and no one saying anything. You mean Republicans? Last time I checked, a much higher percentage of Democrats wanted to ban stock trading than Republicans. Buddy. Is Taylor Lorenz a registered Republican? There's no way. Is Taylor Lorenz a registered Republican? That one, she is insane, by the way. You can tell by looking at her eyes. I'm just saying. She's 40. She's a registered Republican? Taylor Lorenz at the Trump inauguration. She's awesome. No, she's insane. She's a paid propagandist. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. Taylor Lorenz is a paid propagandist. We already know that. It's okay though. Who cares? Please drop a like, comment, subscribe. Joel Politics, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo.
Why'd you hang up about the missile?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You remember the missile?
Are you the missile?
Well, I was telling a story about the missile, and you hung up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got a certain. So I have a thing with my members where if they put enough kick now emojis, and I should have told you. I do apologize for that. They have these kick now emojis, and if they put enough kick now emojis, I need to kick whoever I'm talking to. And they were spamming kick now when you were talking. And I'm sorry though. I should have said that because they want to hear politics. They want to hear disagreements. They didn't want to hear about the missile.
Well, the missile was leading up to a political discussion.
Okay, can we fast forward to the political discussion and like just do a brief, really like 10-second summary of the missile?
So skip the missile?
Yeah, just like a 10-second summary of that, or what the political, just yeah, overall.
Well, they're developing a new system for the missile.
Okay, and how does that tie into politics?
It's our defense. It's our national defense.
Okay.
Like you hate Russia, right?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, but you still spread Russian propaganda, though, right?
Were you about the missile or about Trump's hand?
No, you're the Russian propagandist.
You're the same guy that talked about the Russian propaganda stuff and the missile?
No, that was the guy before me. That was the drunk guy before me.
Oh, I thought you were the Russian propagandist guy,
But
too.
I agree with him. I agree with that guy.
Huh.
You hate Russia, but you spread the propaganda. It's a little hypocritical of you.
Okay.
Do you understand why you guys don't win elections?
Because I'm a liberal and I'm dumb and I'm hypocritical.
Well, we agree on something.
Cool.
Oh, on that point, good luck on your panel tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Wait, I'm confused. L, why is it $9? It says $6. It says 6. Why did it come out to 9? I'm confused. I have it set to 6. What happened, L? On my Patreon, is the $6 one $9? It says 9. I promise it says 9. No, it says 6. Wait, no. Is it $9? I thought it said 6. L saying it says 9. Thank you so much, Joel fan account, for joining us as a supporter here on Patreon. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm so confused. L, what's going on? Cool. I'm pretty sure it still says supporter is 450. Are you guys on different currencies? Are you on a different currency? Because for USD, mine says $3. I think you might be on a different currency. Wait, I'm so confused. Is there an upscaled price? No, because okay, so for Jola, so L, for Jola fan account, thank you again, Jola fan account. For Jola fan account, the $3 went through as $3. All right, the $2.99 went through as $2.99, but your $6 went through as $9. So are you on a different? Okay, yeah, it worked for Jola fan account the right way. Maybe you need to log in and log out of, or log out and log in of Patreon. It says it's still pending for you. So I'm wondering if there's an issue there. But thank you for the patronage, guys. Thank you so much. Like I said, I'll shout you out before the streams. We're gonna fix the YouTube roles as well. We're gonna fix them. Okay. Thank you. All right. What am I gonna do? I have no more callers, guys. I have no more callers. I appreciate it. Is anybody an NBA 2K player? Downgraded my YT role? Oh, cool. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Drolla fan account. That's exactly the perfect thing to do. Why not Missile Guy? Oh. Oh, God. What angle should I come into this debate tomorrow with?
When I heard the NRA was writing big ass checks, I went right down to the office and I said, me next. They said, go ye to the schools, spread the good news. I said, I need a bulletproof vest and some good running shoes. They said, we got those. I said, cool. Where at? They said, they're next to the spoons, making everyone fat. Now I was rolling my eyes like a rolling stone when Uncle Huckabee called me on the telephone. He said, I'm raising up money for people in need. I said, of course, Uncle Huck, that strip is starving indeed. He said, the Lord's at work here, boy, the job ain't done. Son, you need Jesus, and Jesus needs guns.
Hey, someone said, "Oh no, leftist music." I'm sorry to tell you, but a lot of music is leftist. All right, a lot of, especially folk music. All right, Bernie Sanders got a lot of support from the leftist audience. I'm just saying. Bernie Sanders and also, or not leftist, from the folk audience. From the folk musicians. I love my freaking recommendations on here. Something big is breaking in Russia right now. Immigration. Super Bowl predictions. Insane Trump quotes. Why does a WAP cover exist? Why I left MAGA.
Hey everyone. It's raining in Arizona today, which is absolutely wild. I think this is maybe like the second or third day of rain that we've had in the past 3 months. So what that means is you might hear some thunder or lightning in the background and maybe like some pitter patter of little drops.
I wish I could go back to when I stopped being Catholic. I wish I knew at the time what I was experiencing and why my beliefs started to change and what made them change. I really don't know. I forget.
Hitting my patio out here.
I was too
and
young.
it also means that my hair is just trying to curl itself everywhere. But honestly, it's just
When
these
it
two
comes to
little
leaving,
horns
like,
by my
a
ears. They're not used to
religion or
the
a cult or
humidity.
whatever, leaving
This
those
week,
is
against my better
tough.
judgment, I've been talking about my escape from MAGA. And I've had a lot of questions
Her
about
story's
what
crazy.
made me leave. So today, in this totally unscripted video, I'm going to dive into the steps leading up to and then what it was that finally pushed me to decide that I was no
Unscripted is tough. Unscripted for 30 minutes?
longer Republican, no longer conservative, and break up with Donald J. Trump and the
Why I
entire
left
Make
the
America
right.
Great Again train. And no, it wasn't Epstein. I broke up with this guy long before that. Let's talk about my life. Take 2.
Ready on the set? Let's try this again.
I would advocate for donating to people like this, by the way. I would be like, hey, wow, you left the right. We love you. Thank you. Oh my God, you're awesome. We should give them all they need, all the validation and credit they need socially to say thank you for not being like that. Like,
First, look at this. It's a puddle.
it is impressive.
Wow. I don't even know what these things are up there in the sky.
Oh, the
There's-
Mormon church.
So how did I leave not just MAGA, not just being a Trump voter, but Christian nationalism, white supremacy, and a massive religious community? To answer that question, I'm going to have to start with just a quick synopsis of my life. I was born and raised into the Mormon church, and I had a deeply devout, very heavily indoctrinated family.
It's kind of funny. I did not know she was going to talk about religion in this video, but she left MAGA, and I thought, oh, leaving MAGA is like leaving a religion, and that tied to me leaving Catholicism when I was like in 8th grade or whatever, or 7th grade or 6th grade, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, interesting that she's talking about religion. And if you look at the numbers of evangelicals in America, for example, if you're an evangelical male, no college degree, you voted for Trump at like 85%. If you're a non-evangelical white male with no college degree, you voted for Trump like 40 or 50%. So evangelism in America is the cult mentality of that religious leaning. Those fringes are one of the big reasons in America why someone like Trump can be successful, even in a country that says they're a Christian nation.
Most of my life was spent really just in
Very
this little
Christian.
protective bubble where I wasn't allowed to date outside of the Mormon church. I wasn't supposed to hang out with friends outside of the Mormon church. All of my information was very much controlled by my community, and that kept me just very carefully
Spooky.
protected. I then
That's why they want homeschooling, by the way.
met my now ex-husband at age 19, was married
They
at
love
age 20,
homeschooling. You
and
cannot
would
meet
spend
anyone.
24 years until
You
age
must inbreed.
44, again, very much living in an echo chamber. That echo chamber was rich-ass country club gated communities
True.
in Mesa, Arizona, Scottsdale, Arizona, surrounded by a really Mormon dense population and a very religious population outside of just Mormonism. I came from a huge family, and honestly, I only had like 1 or 2 friends as an adult that weren't members of the Mormon church. I feel like unless you've been Mormon, it's really difficult to understand how that a high demand religion like that really flavors every aspect of your
High
life.
demand?
Everything was filtered through
like
my religion.
time commitments?
I have some friends who are Orthodox Jews. I've had friends who are Jehovah's Witnesses and Scientologists.
fundamentalism.
And Amish and former Mennonites who
Amish,
they
yeah.
are the only ones who even come close to what my growing up and
Don't show your
the
knees
first
or you're
44 years of
evil.
my life was like. And I just want to contrast that to other religions where it's just like go on Sunday, read your Bible, and you know that Jesus saved you. My partner, Kevin, spent most of his life going to a Lutheran church, very heavily involved in Lutheranism. And it's not that he left the Lutheran church.
I
but
don't know
he's
much about that.
Transitioned into attending a non-denominational church. That didn't change his life at all. Going from a Lutheran church to a non-denominational church, nothing changed. Whereas for me, every aspect of my life, from what I did 7 days a week, the music that I listened to, the food that I ate, dietary restrictions imposed by the Mormon Church, 10% of our gross income going to the Mormon Church, and constant service requirements within our congregations because there's no paid clergy, the number of children that I had, who I married, the thoughts in my head, who I voted for, the underwear that I wore, literally the fabric, 24/7, pressing up against my lady parts, was dictated by my church. I've been out of the church now for 7 years. I left Mormonism in October of 2018. And it's interesting looking back on my old Mormon self, and especially this week going through my Facebook page to pull some of...
Yeah, going back at looking at yourself when you're a completely different ideology and a different person is a really weird experience. When it comes to Lutheran churches, I'm trying to think what that is like compared to a independent church, like a Bible church. They share evangelical fundamentalist principles, but there's, I don't know enough to say the nuances there.
These MAGA posts
The
that I put up. It's interesting how much I was trying to be a good person and love others and follow Jesus and Heavenly
born
Father.
again, yeah.
And yet, what a monster I was inside. I hated everybody. I judged everybody. I was racist as
But some are not like evangelical. Some are like evangelical. Some are not.
hell. I didn't want my kids
so many
to hang
different
out
ways.
with non-members because they were evil. And I didn't know at the time how much my religion was making me hate people. But one day, that would come to the forefront. And this really is the beginning step of my journey out of MAGA and everything else. This is where it all kind of collapsed. And it started off as just a really random day for me. One day at age 44, I woke up with my husband, Jake, and 2 of our kids, age 8 and 14. And it was Sunday morning. We were just getting ready for church. Now, I was going through some really difficult things after 24 years of domestic violence and then discovering that my Mormon Reformed missionary had a double that I don't want to really dive into on this video. I do tons of other videos on what that looked like and how that impacted me. But I was at a place in my life where church to me was supposed to be this oasis of peace and love. And the people within my religious community were supposed to be that rock for me.
She left MAGA. She left MAGA for the new people who joined. Thank you, Sri, for $5. Thank you so much for the donation. Like I told everyone tonight, if you want to choose between YouTube memberships and Patreon, I'm moving to my Patreon so I can fundraise across different platforms. I'm expanding to Facebook and Instagram and every site next week, every streaming platform next week. I'm doing a more general show, hopefully. I really want to get into the Facebook boomers. So please donate on Patreon and do memberships on there if you have the ability to support independent media. Really appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, just watching this video of this person's story leaving MAGA and also apparently religious fundamentalism, keenly Mormonism to be exact.
I needed them to be my safe harbor. And on this particular Sunday, it was just 6 weeks after I had reconciled with Jake after 3 years of on and off separation as we dealt with his stuff. And that first 6 weeks with him was very precarious. We hadn't lived together for 3 years. And I was really needing more peace, love, happiness, and stability at that time in my life than I had before. So I remember like doing my makeup in the bathroom and curling my hair and getting the kids breakfast and everything that morning. We were hustling to get off to church that day. And really just having this expectation of once I get to church, I'm going to have some inspiration. I'm going to be around all these beautiful people. And it's going to be that safe harbor in the storm. And instead, church that day was so hateful. Mormon church is 3 hours.
Well, they would blame the woman in any situation, right?
Long. The whole 3 hours was hateful, but the last hour was where I snapped.
3 hour services.
For the last hour of church, the men and women separate. Men go to their priesthood class, women go to their Relief Society class, and then the children are off in their youth groups and their children's ministry. So I went to the Relief Society meeting and just having this feeling of I'm going to be surrounded in all this happiness, and I hope that we have a really inspiring lesson so that I can leave here and for the next week just have, you know, that fuel to get me through what's going to be a difficult week 7 of reconciliation with a man who had harmed me for many years and a very problematic situation. So that was my expectation sitting in class. And then the teacher
If she brought it up, if she brings it up, she's going to be shamed. She's going to be told to submit. All these religions, the very anti-women, anti-female religions are very similar, and I would include MAGA in that. And by the way, this is a clear example, and I don't know. I might be wrong. I might be right. She might not talk about what I'm saying right now. She might say something totally different. But women in these spaces are the key people who reinforce the sexism, because they kind of say, no, this is how we're supposed to act. they're very key. Not the key people, obviously, it's the men, but the women also serve to the domination of women, of other women,
This
and
is the
tell them to
lesson,
submit.
and the lesson is on the evils of homosexuality.
Okay.
And that first little 10 minutes of her lesson, she was talking about her sister-in-law who is bisexual and all the reasons why the sister-in-law was basically going to hell and what an evil person she was, and just personally attacking this total stranger that none of us knew. And all I felt was, this is so hateful.
Someone in chat said, no, they are equal. Well, no, I mean, the men through physical domination can overpower and set the terms in these relationships. That is a real thing and a real threat for women, especially. So they do set it. But yeah, it's like the conversation on how can so many women vote for Trump and support sexist policies.
New. And all I felt was, this is so hateful.
Not the
like,
same
I
thing.
have so much stuff already
I'm
going
sorry.
on in my life.
I'm off
dealing
base
with
right now. I'm
really
not on
dark
base.
things. And there's enough hate out there in the world. This was supposed to be my refuge. And the lesson itself, the doctrine of the church, and these people sitting here in this class are not that at all. It's almost like I saw them for the first time. And yes, ironically, I had always believed that homosexuality was a sin.
Women are equal. Yeah,
and I don't know
sure.
in that moment that I necessarily
obviously.
grappled with
Yeah.
that topic and thought,
Women are
maybe it's
better.
not such a sin. All I saw was a group of humans heaping hate on, I think that the girl in the story, the sister-in-law, was like a 22-year-old who again was a total stranger that none of us knew. And just sitting back, almost like having this out-of-body experience of that group think and that othering and discrimination against somebody as we dehumanized a total stranger just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I stood up and I told them, I said, I'm leaving. I'm not getting a drink. I'm not going to the bathroom. I'm leaving the Mormon church. And I have
This happened a
never
lot.
been back.
This happened a lot with the abolition of slavery, and then through Reconstruction, Jim Crow, like all these different periods. It really did take people waking up one by one and realizing, holy shit, these are human beings we are doing this to. We are really together dehumanizing these people, and it really did take all the good people, all the people that realized how shitty it was, to stand up and come together to end it eventually. And it's hard to do that. It's very hard. You're in these groups, you're in these cults, and you have to break out of it. And white supremacy is the same thing. It's really scary.
44 years of Mormonism. So I grabbed my purse and I left. I did turn to this little 23-year-old teacher and I told her, generations of my family will not be Mormon, like my kids and my grandkids and my great-grandkids, because of this lesson this day. And I just want you to know that. And then I walked out the door of that classroom and there was a little drinking fountain against the wall in the corner right outside the room. And I stood there and I texted Jake and I said, I need you to meet me by the drinking fountain, by the Relief Society room. We need to talk. So a few minutes later, Jake comes out and this was the conversation that I had with him. I said, if you were going to the Mormon church today for the first time, if you're church shopping, this is your first date with a religion, would you want a second date? Would you want to come back to this church? And he was like, no, absolutely not. Like, our lesson is hateful. The whole 3 hours has been horrible. No, if you put it like that, no, I wouldn't. And I said, me either. We'll talk about it in the car and let's go get the kids. We're leaving. And I'm leaving the church. And Jake was just like, wait, what? So we go get in the car and I spent the whole week just really grappling with, do I want to be part of this community that's so hateful? And because of that moment, I then was looking back at all of these other moments in my life and both the doctrine of the church, the teachings of the clergy, the bishops and the prophets and Sunday school teachers and things like that. And then just my interactions with the community and everything just started to hit me. All of this hate, like our investing money in fighting Prop 8 so that gay people couldn't get married and have a life partner. The hatred that I had towards, as a white supremacist, and this is church doctrine that black skin was a curse from God. My fear and hatred of anyone who had brown skin, whether they were from India, whether they were African American, whether they were Mexican. It was almost like that week I could just see all of these dots kind of connecting.
Yeah, that's
and
really
I started
interesting.
to get this big picture of what my life
This
was
is a really
inside
good
of this organization.
storytelling of
And
the unraveling of this stuff.
I knew that I just couldn't do it anymore.
All these religions in America, they all, the really authoritarian ones, view supremacy in a very similar light. And that's why people like Trump can even talk about God in some sense, because you believe that God made black people black because they are cursed and you white because you're good. You know how people like pray before sporting events? They really think God chooses the victor. Not only like God chooses like good things, it's like God chooses who's going to be able to win. and that kind of stuff. So it can be personal favors to them. It could be if you're born rich, you deserve to be rich. The prosperity gospel, you deserve to be rich, or you deserve to be poor. Now, if you're born black and poor and gay or whatever, God hates you. If you're born and if you're gay, God cursed you. If you're not religious, God cursed you as well. So many evangelical mothers and fathers will view it as if their daughter goes away from the church, they are going to hell. They think God cursed their daughter, their child, to be damned to hell. They truly believe that. That's why they get so emotional. And all these different traits come up. Like if God really made my kid trans or gay or black or whatever, then he hates them. They are cursed forever. And that's a clear line of supremacy that is consistent across the authoritarian Christian nationalism in America.
Leaving the Mormon religion took me exactly 2 weeks from that moment. That week, I just started to look at things from a distance. The next Sunday, we went to a Christian church, and
if you go
my
through
ex-husband
pain,
is
you
still part of this
deserved it.
Christian church. It was very loving.
God said
it's
so.
an incredible church. They are very
If you
LGBTQ
stayed poor, it's your
supporting.
job to
They
stay poor.
have
It's your job to
support
serve,
groups
be a
for women
servant.
who've had abortions. They are kind, amazing people, and that
A big part of the Bible is submitting to people.
first Sunday that we
Bosses,
went to a
your
non-Mormon
husband,
church, and the
yeah.
pastor was just
God.
truly talking about love and support and working communally as humans. It was mind-boggling, and Jake and I both knew in that moment, standing in that church, that we could never go back to the Mormon church again. And then the next week, I would start digging into Mormon history, and I would start looking at polygamy, which I never knew the depth of polygamy within the Mormon church. And I started looking at the truth claims of the Book of Mormon itself and modern revelations that hadn't been fulfilled. And 2 weeks after that walkout, I would resign from the Mormon church, putting a stop with my children to 7 generations that my children are descended from the very foundations of Mormonism on that side of the family, 5 generations on my side, and the buck stopped with me. 2 weeks.
By the way, follow, and that's really hard, by the way. To break a cycle like that is extremely hard. Drop a like, comment, subscribe, donate to Joel of Politics and Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo. Join the Patreon as well. Join Patreon, become a member, please. Support independent media. Also, join Discord. I said the wrong thing here. Join Discord. Have policy discussions. Have discussions on religion, on just, chatting with people. Find some friends. Join our Discord, guys. Join our Discord. I'm going to drop the link. It's also in my channel description and under my video descriptions as well.
Later, my marriage would end, and my whole entire life would collapse. And I would be like, would end. And
oh yeah, one other thing about Jesus. There is the liberal Jesus where he rejects all form of inequality and supremacy. And there's the other version that conservatives agree with more in America, or at least like the far right, crazy authoritarian ones. There's another form of Jesus and God that justifies and encourages and actually believes in these inequalities. So like, in my opinion, Christianity means we reject the idea that God made anyone evil. We're all made in God's image, whether it's a disability or a different race or gay or trans or whatever. We're all made in God's image. Even the bad people are made in God's image, and we as human beings are kind of dealing with that. And we have to learn to love these aspects and to improve and take care of the earth God gave us. But the conservative version is sort of just like, if you can dominate and win, God made you worthy of that. If you can overpower people, that justifies any power you grab. And if you're successful, that means God bestowed that upon you. He gave you the tools necessary, and you deserve the wealth you've accumulated. It all connects together. The economics, race, like it all does become intertwined. It's not only about radicalization. It's about just like, when you view supremacy, is it ordained? Is it done by God on purpose, or is it something we should be rejecting? The idea that any one of God's, like that God would decide based off of your skin color or if you're gay to love you or not is insane. Obviously, the more liberal churches get laughed at by conservatives for being more open and affirming of people, but it's probably more like Jesus actually was.
And my whole entire life would collapse, and I would be left with absolutely nothing. And that shift is a lot of what opened me up to stepping away from the Trump train, the MAGA movement, and ultra-conservative, because my life before was very privileged. I was living in $1 million homes. We were vacationing all over the country. I had everything I wanted. I could drop a $100 bill. I wouldn't even take the time to bend over and pick it up.
Oh, they were rich.
We had so much for so long. And suddenly my life collapsing made me see the other side. I would be sleeping in my car, and then I would no longer have that car. I would no longer have anything. I had absolutely nothing. I lost everything in my divorce. And for the first time, I was sitting in the DES office applying for food stamps. And I was picking up food boxes from a Catholic charity so that I could feed my kids. And it's crazy the stuff that people donate to like food pantries. It was like canned beans and canned green beans.
Remember, in Trump's America, with their Medicaid and their SNAP standards, someone like this who gets thrown on the street randomly with a huge rapid life change would need to jump through loopholes after loophole or hoop after hoop of regulatory hoops. All right, not loopholes. They'll need to jump through so many hoops to get any type of assistance, and wait months and months because the programs are underfunded before they can actually get the help they need in Trump's America. To make sure they're not in illegal. Make sure she's not in illegal, guys. We can't just help people in America.
And macaroni and cheese and soup. And we were so happy to just have that soup. Like, that's all we had. And I honestly don't know if I would be the person that I am today
false. You're right.
if my ex-husband hadn't paid alimony, if he hadn't forced me into homelessness.
You're right, Nuck and Futz. That is false. Thank you for your authority.
If I hadn't had
opinion.
3 years of absolute struggle, I don't know that it would have been enough to wake me up. And my new friends are Navajo and Japanese and Black. And of course, I live in Arizona, so lots of Mexicans and atheist, Buddhist, Jewish, like everything. My friend group.
That's how it should be. That's
this
America.
Beautiful melting pot.
If you're against the melting pot, you're not a real American. Move to Russia.
My friend group became this beautiful melting pot for the first time in my life.
You want an ethno state? Move to China. All right, go to Russia. Move to an ethno state. All right, we don't need you here. Go back to Europe. All right, your culture's from Europe. All right, your lineage is from Europe. Go back to Go back to Eastern Europe, bro. Don't bring your dumbass ethno state, multiculturalism, xenophobic ass here, bro. Go leave.
Because I wasn't just friends with the people
cultures
in my
around here, dipshit.
I actually know all of my neighbors. Now, I did go from Mormonism straight into throwing myself into Jesus, and I would spend 4.5 years deeply immersed in Christianity, sometimes going to like multiple Bible study groups a week,
to Saudi Arabia.
because I felt like the Mormon church had like kept me from knowing Jesus. So it's like, oh, I can finally have a relationship with Jesus without like the Book of Mormon in the way. So that's kind of where I was until 2 years ago. And coincidentally, my leaving MAGA happened at the same time that I left Christianity and broke up with Jesus. And I don't think that that could have happened in any other way either. So
someone in chat said only the illegals are not part of our melting pot. Actually, if you're here, all right, and you're living here and working here, you're a part of my melting pot. I don't give a shit. But also, Trump, when Trump came after these Haitian immigrants who were here legally, they were here legally, all right, legally. When he said they were savages, ripping apart people's cats and dogs, and he said these violent savages are raping women with no proof other than them being Haitian immigrants, you did not say shit to defend them. That's when you played yourself. All right, you exposed yourself.
Broke up with Jesus, and I don't think that that could have happened in any other way either.
Please drop a like, guys. I really appreciate it. 500 viewers right now, 144 likes. It really is a good night for streaming. Really appreciate the numbers. I have not streamed in like 2 weeks. Maybe that's part of it, but I really appreciate it. To support the channel, again, Jola Politics is my channel name on Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo. Leave me a message on there and support independent media. Drop a like, subscribe, join our Discord. Please join Discord. Come hang out with us as well. Under my video descriptions, under my channel description. Really appreciate it. Become a Patreon member. Support independent media on Patreon. My #1 platform for fundraising is going to be Patreon. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Please. Thank you again. Really appreciate it. Patreon. I'm going to start announcing all of my patrons before every stream. All right. And then maybe after. And I'll think of more perks on there. But again, I'm going to be doing content across a bunch of different sites: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all the Instagram, whatever. All right. And I'm going to use Patreon as my #1 fundraising source.
So I started to have all of these diverse friends and read diverse thoughts. And
someone said the Haitian immigrants were flooded into the city to gerrymander and change representation. Huh. You're saying that these Haitian immigrants were flooded to gerrymander in 2023 and 2024? Interesting. It's not when that happens usually. I mean, under Republicans it might. But also, Ohio, if you think that you bring in illegal immigrants to get your numbers up for the census, they were in Ohio. They were in a red state, you dipshit.
And my brain was being flooded with stuff that it had never even considered before. And then I started grappling with everything that I had been taught in my church about race. that a white God made a white Adam and Eve and put them in the Garden of Eden, and then Cain and Abel, and so he cursed.
Well, okay, one more. Okay, let me go back really quick. The same guy that said, "Oh, it's okay if they're legally here." The moment I brought up how his political movement demonized legal immigrants as savages in a very actually racist attack, he says, well, they were actually brought here to flood the area for gerrymandering. You see how they move the goalpost? Do you see how they constantly move it? Whatever point they can use to demonize immigrants, they'll find that point. All right? If someone's here illegally, they'll find a point why they shouldn't be. Every time, bro. Like clockwork.
Was being flooded with stuff that it had never even considered before. And then I started grappling with everything that I had been taught in my church about race, that a white God made a white Adam and Eve and put them in the Garden of Eden, and then Cain and Abel, and so he cursed Cain with brown skin. I still believed that.
That's so cool.
Up until like 3 or 4 years ago. And then I made a couple of black friends. There are a lot of black people in the Mormon church. I'd never had a black friend.
Are there any black
And they're
Mormons?
amazing. Like, they're some of my favorite people in the world. And because I connected with them on such a deep personal level, I started to question race theory. And
black Mormons make up 6% of the total worldwide membership? 6% of the Mormon church is black, and they believe that black people are... What the hell?
It's like, well, now that I'm learning actual science and data, what do we know about race?
Are they asking for forgiveness? For like being
and
cursed?
what were the origins of brown skin, dark hair, brown eyes? So I started reading genetics studies, and lo and behold, I discovered that humans were brown forever.
There are black Mormons.
And the blonde hair, blue eye, white skin thing is really new. Like
Black saints were among the first to arrive to Salt Lake City. The first to arrive in Salt Lake City in 1847. Black saints? What?
1,000 years old. And it's not because anybody was cursed or not cursed or better than somebody else. It's because humans migrated to northern climates.
I didn't
I'm
know about
descended
that.
from
Sub-Saharan
people who inhabited
Africa.
Scandinavia and Germany. And it was cold as hell up there. So that's why
Yeah, I
we're
know about
watched.
missionaries.
I remember the moment literally laying in my bed and
I'm talking about people in
going through
America.
all of these studies on genetics and the blonde blue gene mutation and how new it was. And I felt like the whole entire world just fell out from under me. And in that moment, I could no longer be a white supremacist. It just went away. Like, I read and reread.
The thoughts she's having right now, a lot of people are genuinely just like not, their brains cannot expand enough to understand the concepts she's describing. She's not an expert on anything, but she has an intelligent mind that can parse out like, oh, wait a second, like, why do I believe this? Oh, this point, that does not make sense. Plus, I know these people in real life. They are not evil. It takes, that's kind of why over time you had people pick off the racist train and start wanting to see black people as human beings, because after a certain amount of time of human intelligence and everything and integration, eventually some people's brains wake up, and when all the people who woke up come together, change actually happens. But most people, a lot of people are kind of dense. They're a little too dumb to be able to do what she did.
Little details like
But big
how the
kudos to
kinky
her.
curly hair, like the afro, protects the scalp from intense sun. Well, that makes sense if people are in Africa, or the Fertile Crescent.
And she's talking about why it makes sense people develop differently in different areas of the world. This is really good. I don't know why there's people in chat hating on this, you idiot. You absolute idiot. Hating on this.
Wait, the Mormon Church taught me that Adam and Eve, the Garden of Eden,
Idiot.
was in Jackson County,
This Devin
Missouri.
person.
So it made sense to me that Adam and Eve would be
This is how real
white
people become
because-
it's just like, this is how real people, thank you for $5. A lot of our ancestors came in Ellis Island, basically very little standards and open borders. Very true, Spencer. Thank you. People don't know American history. The wokeness going to college. Yeah, that's true as well. Now, her doing this in the Mormon church, she had just enough contact with the outside world and her brain expanded. Like, why are we just hating this person? You can say it's a sin, but why, even in terms of a sin in a church, a sin can be something you repent for, but seeing someone who commits a sin, or if they're cursed or whatever, as evil, and everyone dogpiling on them being super cruel, like right now with MAGA and trans people, it can have the opposite effect of what they want, where people become more sympathetic to the group they're dogpiling on. This video, if you want to de-radicalize MAGA. This is like how you can kind of maybe get there. But the issue is, among this line she's following, Turning Point USA is there to intercept young men, for example, who might develop out of the church. Turning Point USA is there to be an adrenaline shot of pure propagandist bullshit. All right, pure RFK worm infested horse steroids right up the gluteus maximus. All right, like Turning Point USA. That's why they're so dangerous, because when people usually wake up from their fundamentalist youth, Turning Point USA gives them a huge extension that covers the real world, and that's kind of scary because then they don't really hear the real world before they become more radicalized and become adults, and it's harder to change their mind at that point.
Missouri. This little era of deconstructing my racism, I suddenly was doing.
Someone said it isn't rocket science. You're right. It's so easy to de-radicalize cult members. We're doing so good right now.
Tons of TikTok videos on deconstructing racism, and like I remember one day just going to the farmers market here in my hometown in Arizona and looking at Mexican families with their little kids in strollers and African Americans, and we have a lot of refugees here in my hometown. I have no idea where they're from actually, but people who were nothing like me, and just thinking how beautiful they were and thinking how marvelous genetics are. That
what she just said right there. I have MAGA people call into my show, and they always tell me when they see immigrants randomly, she said, this is beautiful diversity. She's like, this is beautiful. All these cultures coming together. This is beautiful. This is America, which it is America. But these dipshit, pathetic little loser maggots call into my show, and they say they see a brown person at the checkout, and they're like, I knew he wasn't illegal just by looking at him. Because I always ask, like, why do you have a problem with him? You know, why were you mad at him at the grocery store? He's like, he's an illegal. I'm like, how do you know this guy is, you know, not here illegally? He's like, I looked at him and I heard him talk. I heard him speaking Spanglish. And I'm like, wait, so did you actually talk to him? No, I did not talk to him. It's like, what? But you're gonna say he's here illegally and you hate him because of it? You never even spoke with him? It's just the difference between being open to cultures and being culturally anxious and being a little pussy.
Dark skin protects people from intense UV exposure and from picking up too much vitamin D and seeing the world in a totally different way and feeling completely different on the inside. No,
that's not even stereotyping. Stereotyping is saying like, oh, wow, that guy probably doesn't have a dad, or that guy probably is good at this sport. That guy's white. He probably is good at 3-pointers. He's Asian. He might be good at math. He's blah, blah, blah. That's stereotyping. Looking at someone and saying, oh, they're an illegal and they are dangerous. They're going to kill my family. That is pure racism. That's the definition of xenophobia, actually.
Hey, going to that farmer's market for the first time in my entire life,
actually just afraid of the outsider.
As a white supremacist. I almost felt this barrier between myself and other people just evaporate. And it is important to point out that I was doing so much work myself. So as I'd have these aha moments and learn something, then I would go to my therapist and like, let's talk about racism. And I'd get books on breaking down racism and helping to understand and really kind of checking myself, and then asking my friends too, talking to my Black friends about just how to be an okay human. And also during all of this, I was learning to let go of judgment and empathize with other people in a way that I really never had before. So if I was watching a movie about Harriet Tubman, then rather than looking at that as them and their experience and their history, I was learning to connect with the stories of humans. And I don't know how to explain this, but like, what if I was Harriet Tubman? What if I was any of these people in this story who were going?
What if I was Harriet Tubman? Now, this is just her being able to put herself in other people's shoes. What word is it? Sympathy? Empathy? Who cares? She's an empath.
Rather than that was them, that wasn't me. As I was learning and deconstructing and
but people are literally zombies. They don't have the ability to do what she's doing. They don't have the ability.
Every little bit of my worldview and my behaviors that had been just forced on me and my
embracing feminism
collapse was gender roles. I was still very much living in this traditional family structure with my new partner. I got rid of Jake and we divorced. I met Kev and I was doing all the cooking and the cleaning, and he was the provider, and that worked out great, except that I still felt very small. And then I started to read books on the science of the genetics of male and female, and do males have genes that make them more protective, and do females have instincts that make them better cooks? And as I really evaluated everything, this one big thing leapt out at me, that we live in a patriarchal system that has taught us.
Yes, true. Someone said super low T. What is low T? I think what low T is commenting on a YouTube short at 1 a.m. I got 500 people watching, and you're one of them.
It's a bunch of lies.
It's so sad.
And I looked at my own life, and
Breaking up with MAGA.
that shook. And honestly, in some of Trump's pre-campaign stuff, just watching some of the crowd that followed him, it was almost like I was back there in my Mormon church that Sunday having this out-of-body experience.
When Trump said, oh yeah, the outer body experience of a cult worshiping someone. When Trump said that thing about like, when he's like, you know, raping women is fun. You know, you thought that was going to be the end. You thought that was going to be the end. When he made fun of the disabled reporter, or I'm sorry, the reporter who has a disability. I'm canceled. No.
And I started to ask that same question. If this was the first time that I was trying out a political group and a political party and a political candidate, if this was like our first date, would I want a second date? If I hadn't been MAGA since the beginning of MAGA, if I hadn't voted for Trump all those years and followed Trump and like really.
Like, this is awesome, bro. Do you know how many people I know that pretended to give a shit about people who have like disabilities, who pretended to give a shit, and then Trump does this bullshit and it's like, hey, listen, dude. You know, I thought I cared about people who have disabilities, but I really want to see brown people get beat up. All right, so I'm gonna like they really said that shit, bro. Like, the moment this shit is okay, when you can make fun of John McCain for being God. There we go.
Worshipped Trump. I was on the Trump train 100%, believed that God was behind him. If I hadn't done all that, would I? And the answer was absolutely no. As he talked about immigrants in New Jersey eating cats and dogs. And now I have black friends, and he makes a statement about black jobs. And I might have just fallen for that before, but my black friends were college professors, highly educated, artists, business owners. So like they had better jobs than me. I was on food stamps at the time. And then honestly, I think the thing that broke me the most was that over on my TikTok, where I had 400,000 followers, I was talking about women's rights. I was talking about feminism. I was talking about equality in marriage and just not being a racist
like Trump?
jerk. And I was getting so much hate from conservatives. The comments were just insane. And I saw the ugliness, the hate, and the fear up close and personal. And I wasn't part of the in crowd anymore. I was on the receiving end of the hate and the fear. And I couldn't ignore it. So one night I had laid in bed reading about political platforms and what is a Democrat and what is a Republican and what does MAGA stand for and what does Trump stand for.
I love it. Okay, thank you for watching. Please drop a like, comment, subscribe, blah, blah, blah.
And what did Joe Biden do? And tell me about Barack Obama, who I had secretly voted for. And honestly, I felt like it was a coming out of the closet type of moment, lying there in bed realizing, oh shit, I'm a Democrat. And I didn't even know it. Not only am I a Democrat, but I am like this woke, feminist, atheist, anti-theist, fighting against religion. So of course, you know what the next step is going to be. Therapy, therapy, therapy.
Oh, you're right. Drola, can you stop the stream for Micah? He needs attention. All right, I'll stop the stream. All right. Micah, what do you want? You can guarantee a phone call with me if you donate $10 with your phone number and your first name on Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal. God, please subscribe, all right? If you subscribe, I got no phone callers. Guys, I'll take Micah's phone call if you give me $50 right now. $50, all right? $50. I'll talk to Micah. Maybe even 50 cents, all right? Maybe even 50 cents.
Reaching out to my new community and asking for feedback, like, what do you guys think about this? And what do you think about the fact that I think this? And then books, study. And part of that studying has been being part of a political campaign. I kind of landed in the RFK camp for a little bit. And so I was volunteering with a local little campaign group here in my hometown. It's been really interesting too, not having like that church bubble where other people are giving me the information. I have access to information and I've been really taking advantage of that. So I've been going to local town halls. getting
Thank you for $1, Patrick.
our local mayor, like literally following her on social media, reading articles about her, reading her whole history of who she is and everything, and some of the controversy.
Well, 16 tones. If you got it like that, if you're rich, you can always donate on coffee. Love it. Thank you. Yeah, but I'm kidding. But also, if anyone does want to donate with a credit card or a debit card, you can donate on coffee. Thank you.
Surrounding her and getting to know all of the candidates in this election that we had yesterday. I guess for the first time.
Thank you for $1, Devin. All right, throw the dollar bills on me. All right, I'll dance up and down that pole. Please drop a like, comment, subscribe.
In my life, accessing all of the full political rights that I always had access to.
Suri, thank you for $1. Oh no.
Because it really
Start
hit me
throwing those dollar
what a unique
bills.
experience it is to live in the United States of America in the year 2015. You guys, I said that incorrectly on another video. So now we're in 2015 now in every single video. I don't know if I'll ever say 2025.
Another $1 from
Like,
Patrick.
this is such a unique experience for us not to be under.
Oh no, who's this?
Call from.
Whoa, don't say that. Hello?
Hey, brother, how's it going?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Beautiful. You took my call. This is Mika.
Beautiful. Well, everyone donated $1 for you. Thank you,
You
Vandra,
know,
for $1. Thank you, Devin,
that's
again.
true friends in the dang chat.
Thank you, Spencer, for $1. Yeah, we got like $7. Thank you guys.
Honestly, we could get some more dollars. Y'all got to give it up.
Yeah. Woo.
No, I'm happy. I could give $100 to Palestine. I could split it 50-50 with you and the kids. I don't care.
Yeah, 50-50 with me and the kids.
Sounds good. Anyways, I was just trying to figure out what's good. I've been on the stream for a minute here with this. It looks like a video of this person from Arizona. I'm from Arizona. What's the situation?
I'm just chilling right now. She left MAGA. She left Mormonism. She left religious fundamentalism, and ended up becoming a liberal. She was pretty rich, became a TikToker, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm just chilling right now. I took some phone calls earlier, so yeah.
I love that situation. She went from a religious fundamentalist to liberal.
Yeah, after she did like some critical thinking about where race comes from and genetics and feminism, and she had a brain a little bit, and that usually breaks your. Thank you, Aaron, for $1. Thank you, Devin, for $1. That usually breaks being MAGA.
I mean, it's tough. I would say in Arizona, being a libertarian is considered a leftist. So I think that's a pretty solid move.
Well, anything is leftist. I mean, Ronald Reagan is leftist to MAGA now, so.
That's absolutely true.
If you don't want to burn immigrants alive and feed them to alligators, you're a leftist now.
I think in Arizona, as long as you believe that there's such a thing as a rule of if you have any idea of morality, then you're not okay. We got to get you out of here. That's the way they see it. You dig?
Yeah.
What the chat saying?
I don't know. Sorry, I was just having something. All right. Yeah.
Okay, brother. Anyways, we should probably debate something, yeah?
Sure.
I'm not sure what we disagree on, so I'm sure. What's your hot
What are
take?
you? Wait, what are you?
Well, me, I'm a person. I'm a
Thank you
they,
for
them.
$5, Krusty. No, I mean like, are you far left? Thank you for $1, Sprig. Everyone's throwing dollar bills. Are you far left? Left?
I'm far
center?
enough left that I might be further left than you, but who's to say? I don't really know.
Well, I'm going on a panel tomorrow with Hutch and Destiny and Counterpoints.
Oh, okay.
And we're talking
All
about
right,
dark
wait.
money in politics and Taylor
Okay,
Lorenz's
go ahead.
article about money in politics and the
Yo,
chorus.
all right.
Have you heard about chorus?
So, no, so I have heard. So I know several names that you've said. I haven't heard. Do you see Chorus? Was that last thing you said?
Chorus is the organization name. It's a 501c4 nonprofit that gives stipends to media people that are up and coming.
Yes. No, I heard about this with David Pakman and such, right?
Yeah, and Brian Tyler Cohen. They are like Brian Tyler Cohen is like a founder of it. Pakman's a mentor in the program. I'm pretty sure.
That's a shame. No, yeah, I mean, I can talk. Oh, your pick, brother. We could talk Destiny. We could talk ContraPoints. We could talk money.
Well, Destiny is good for
media.
clicks.
I'm here. Well, Destiny is a piece of shit. Can I say shit, or should I not say this online?
I don't care. No, that's good. That's fine.
Okay. All right, brother. No, I mean he's just, I mean, at this point, regardless of the way you feel about his politics, I don't know if anybody can really stand on his side. No disrespect to
I
him
think he's
in
he's
particular.
probably a piece of shit. I wouldn't disagree. I think he's also useful.
Okay, useful is a different conversation, though.
Yeah, I mean, no,
You
but
know
like
what I
on
mean?
the internet, young white men are cringy and edgy, all right, and stupid, and sometimes assholes. So like when it comes to Asmongold and XQC and all these dipshits online, having him in that space is probably a positive for
But
the internet.
but we could do better, right? You know, we could do better in the white male space.
I mean, in that area, I think you have to be kind of a dirtbag a little bit, honestly. I don't know if you can be a squeaky clean guy and be popular in these spaces. I mean, look at Asmongold. That guy has like rats coming out of his asshole. Like, it's just.
That dude's, I think he's got like a new type of disease they're gonna name after him. But no, honestly, I mean, brother, I think, I mean, imagine that you aged down like the Chapo guys or some shit, and they were 18, or they were 17 or whatever. They'd be hitting those marks. You know what I mean?
I don't know if it matters. I mean, they're kind of cringe too. I don't like them.
No, they're hella cringe. No,
I'm pro, but
they're all cringe.
I'm pro Democrats winning though, so I'm like very anti Hassan because he's very anti Democrat. So I'm pro Kyle Kalinske.
Oh wait, we found it. I'm not a big Hassan guy, but I'm not anti Hassan. We found the debate.
Oh well, I mean I like Kyle Kalinske. Hassan's too far to the crazy side.
I don't know. You said Kyle. I don't know.
New
who that is
donation
at,
from
so I'm
Dev.
not super on it. That's
$33 DGG on top.
Thank you, Dev, for 33. Wait, was that $33, Dev?
33. Okay.
Thank you, Dev. He said DGG on top. Oh man. Thank you, Devin.
Yeah.
See, they're buying me. They're buying the Destiny fan base is trying to buy my influence, so I get doxxed by Hassan fans.
No, that's good. Yo, take that money, brother. I would take it if I was you.
I will take all the dark money.
No, I'm not. It's not that dark one.
By dark money, I mean money from black people. That's all I mean from dark money.
The dark money is the money that you get from really unpleasant people.
That's what Joe Biden was talking. No. Okay.
No, brother, I will. Again, I don't know who the guy was who you talked about last.
Thank you for $1, Tessa.
To talk Hassan shit, because I don't really give that much of a shit about him, but I got opinions.
Hassan is a clout chaser who encourages people to be very upset about the political process. He convinces people to not be engaged very much. He is antithetical to progress, in my opinion.
Should we debate this, or do we just want to chat about it? Because I can do either one. I'm happy to just chat about it, but if we want to debate,
I don't know. Like, it's just like, here's my big thing. Like Kyle
I
Kalinske,
don't feel
for
that
example.
strongly about it. Oh, sorry. Also, will you tell me who Kyle Kalinske is? Because I just don't.
Kyle Kalinske, he has a show
me.
called Secular Talk. He does a show with Crystal Ball. Do you know her?
Okay, but yeah, absolutely.
Okay, he's her husband. He has a channel with like 2 million subscribers.
All right,
2 million.
Yeah.
But like
Jesus,
people like him say that Republicans are a fascist death cult, and they say they'll vote for any Democrat to get them out of power because they understand Trumpism can be the end to America. Hassan Piker still to this day will not admit Kamala Harris will be worse than Trump was. Than Trump is. He will not admit it to this day, and he was actively running against Kamala Harris winning the presidency, which is, in my opinion, disqualifying.
Ask you again. I'm happy to chat about it. Do you want to debate about it, or do you want to chat about it? 'Cause we can chat about it. I don't mind. I don't gotta have a convincing conversation, but you know, you're the one who's making money off of this. I'm just here for fun. So
I mean, you choose. You're my final call tonight. I'm really vibing right now. I'm going to bed after this. This is
okay. How long you got?
I'm just saying, this is not a high stakes conversation for me. This is not going to be content.
Right,
this is just us vibing. We have 250 people now watching. This is the late night shift. Everyone else went to bed.
Let's keep them on.
So,
Let's get intense with it. How long you got?
Just say something, man. I don't know.
All right, you got it. Let's hit it hard. I'll say I don't know much about Hassan, but I've seen his streams, I've seen his clips and such. I think that he is unfairly maligned. I think there's a lot of people who don't like him because they have an idea of him, that they don't like. And I say that as somebody who is not subscribed to his channel. I just see him on the web. And when I go to the clips that people talk about not liking him for, they really don't hit the mark for me for something that I don't.
Okay, can you name? Okay, this big question. Big question. All right, can you name a time that Hassan said something good about the Democratic Party or the Democratic Party or a Democrat?
Unfortunately, I'm not subscribed to it, so I don't really know.
Ever
I mean,
in any
I
clip
wish
anywhere
I
of any
could.
time
I mean,
ever?
I assume that he has about Bernie Sanders or
Well, no, like he's not a
Mamdani or,
Democrat.
whatever.
He's not. I mean, he's barely a Democrat.
Right. Again, I mean, I'm down. I could probably find one if I was subscribed to him, but Mamdani, I assume he's had good things about it. I know they got like coffee together or whatever.
Do you think Destiny is pro-genocide?
Yo, great question. Wait, let's do that. That's way more interesting. Okay. First of all, yeah. But second of all, why do you ask?
I don't know.
You're just farming questions? No, why do you ask?
I don't know. I mean, people ask that question a lot of times about people and about like things.
Crazy look.
Now, I would say when he's talking to the
go ahead.
IDF people in Israel, and he says the thing about like, when you take a picture wearing a dead family's dress, just don't post it. Like, obviously, that's insanely terrible. It's a disgusting statement. It's not really a thing you joke about. And it's obviously like, if you have that situation, let's say you're in Destiny's political persuasion, you probably just say like, hey, you should probably stop dehumanizing people, view war as war. You shouldn't even be thinking about putting on that little girl's dress and taking a picture of it and making fun of her dying. You should probably just like, hey, like you're at war right now. If you need to be at war to defend your country, act like it. That should probably be, even if you're pro, like pretty like in the middle or pro Israel like Destiny. It's just don't like, it's just very stupid as well and disgusting and terrible to even make a fucking, to even make a statement about that is just insane.
I mean, so here's the thing. I'll give you two responses. One, absolutely agree. I think that the rules of war explicitly deny people the right to, whatever, post on personal social media to blah, blah, blah. But specifically in Israel, there are rules of engagement that talk about that you cannot be taking pictures and stealing people's shit and blah, blah, blah. But to me, as a Jewish person, a very Jewish person, I think that everything that Israel is doing is harmful to Jewish people in general. I think they're creating anti-Semitism in the world by virtue of doing genocide.
Well, I just saw a parade the other day, by the way. I saw a parade of a Jewish community with Israeli flags.
No
It was
shit.
really interesting to watch.
Oh, okay. Wait, are you in New England? That's where I'm
No,
at.
I was traveling, so I was down south.
I was gonna say we should meet up, but
No.
Anyways, all to say, as a very Jewish person, I've hosted the Seder for every Passover since I was an adult.
So you're
I have
religious as well?
fasted
You're
for
religious
every-
and
No, well, I'm spiritually engaged with Judaism, and I host Seders. I've
so you're
kept
like
fast for
agnostic.
Yom Kippur.
You're like practicing agnostic, but you're not like orthodox. Like
It's a pretty thorough. I would say you're closer than you are further away.
Okay.
But again, I fast every year for Yom Kippur since I was 8.
I got you.
I host a Seder, so I'm in like Flint. I mean, I can read Hebrew, yada yada. All to say, like I think that they're doing great harm to Jewish people, and I think they're doing much greater harm to Palestinian people, obviously. And when I talk to family members, when I talk to other Jews, what I say first of all is, don't you think this could be done better? And what I say second of all is, don't you think this is a genocide? Don't you think we should do better than this? You know what I mean? And if Destiny wants to disagree with that, bro, he should come. I'll come box him at the gym or whatever. I don't give a shit.
It's bad politics in general too. Like if you're, you can still. It's not. It's different. When I talk about politics, it's more in the sense of general political messaging. If you're like an elected official too,
Sure.
So like, saying it's outright genocide and Israel are literal Israelis are Nazis, for example.
New donation
okay,
from
well, the
Dad.
Israelis are Nazis
One second,
is a
donation.
term.
$10 Hassan 1 supported
Yeah.
9112 said there
Thank
are
you for
baby settlers in
$10.
Israel.
Okay.
3 supported
Okay.
the Russian invasion
Okay,
at the
wait,
start.
let me interrupt just to say.
Devin brought up
the
how
Israelis
Hassan
are
said
Nazis,
Hassan supported 9/11. He said Hassan in the donation. He said Hassan said there's baby settlers as well, and that kind of stuff. Okay, but I don't want to get derailed. Okay,
So
thank
I
you,
was
Devin.
no,
We'll
no, no,
go
no.
back to that.
I'm not actually interrupting. I'm just saying the Israelis are Nazis thing is a different thing we can talk about later. It's a very inflammatory kind of statement, but genocide is the thing that I stick to.
Yeah, okay, but I'm just saying, like, saying it's directly like Israelis are Nazis is an outright genocide by every Israeli, and they're all supporting it, is outrageous, as well
It's
as
ridiculous.
disregarding
It doesn't
completely
make
that
any
there's
sense.
anything happening at all is also outrageous.
It doesn't
But
make
I
any
would say
sense.
that, like, the fact that, like, Bernie Sanders and AOC refuse to use the term genocide as a legal term.
Yeah.
Well, I think AOC uses it. AOC uses it. Bernie Sanders does not,
Yeah.
for example. I'm probably where Bernie is. I'm probably where it's like...
he has been pro divestment of sending funds to Israel.
Yeah, but he doesn't say
refuses to use
genocide,
the
so he's
terminology.
probably going to be number one. 'Cause
Agreed,
he doesn't say
brother.
the word genocide, though. So, like, for me,
he's destroying his legacy.
The same thing is no, but I agree with him. I agree when it comes to as an elected official, a U.S. senator. Sometimes throwing around terms like that can be difficult if there's no legal proceeding that has
wait.
happened yet. So, like a war criminal, like Netanyahu is, calling for his arrest, like Bernie has, I'm pretty sure, is 100% legitimate. But like when it hasn't been done in court yet and proven in court yet, which might not happen for a very long time. You could say it's a developing genocide. Like you say, you could say it's a developing.
I should let you.
No,
know.
I'm saying you could say it's a developing genocide and be factual, or be like, on the right side of it. But saying it's factually, or you could have an opinion that's a genocide. You could have an opinion that Rittenhouse murdered people at, like the protesters at that rally. Of course, you could have that opinion.
Let's not get into
but
Rittenhouse.
in court,
Let's stick on topic. So I was going to say, sticking on topic here, we're not talking about the concept of a genocide is not predicated on post facto information. The genocide is not based on.
No, but you have to litigate the current information. You have to litigate the current information in a court type of setting.
ICC has already litigated it as a genocide, and I would say
okay. Where is the ruling saying they commit genocide already? Where's that ruling at?
Well, they're suspected, I would say.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You can say they're suspected. That's what I mean, though. Like, as a U.S. senator, I'm not blaming Bernie Sanders for not saying something that's not done yet.
Oh, sure. I mean, I can blame Bernie Sanders for shit. I mean, he's the best of what we can get. But my thing for you here is to say, to use the term genocide is a faster way of saying there's an ethnic cleansing happening in Palestine that has been going on for decades.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I agree with ethnic cleansing for sure.
And ethnic cleansing, I mean, this is a terminology game. I mean, if you're okay with ethnic cleansing, but you're not okay with genocide, I'm not saying you are, but
it's preceding,
for the abstract
though, right?
person, like it's the concept. Do you think that there was a genocide in Rwanda?
From what I know about Rwanda, there wasn't. Were there explicit like interstate factions fighting each other in Rwanda? I don't know much about it. Was there like two different countries and two different governments like having attacks back and forth before it started?
I will save us the time and the insane comments here. No, but also we can skip. Rwanda was a specific terminology where people were moved out of their houses. People were killed, of course, as is happening in Palestine. People were moved from their villages where they lived into a different country. That's ethnic cleansing. In my opinion, that's genocide. Genocide is when you displace and kill people because they are of a specific group.
No, but
right?
Removing someone from an area technically still is ethnic cleansing. You could say it precedes the genocide, or like the domicide and ethnic cleansing precede genocide, which can be definitely true. But it's technically not the same term.
That's a great point. That's a great point. So then, how do you think about the indiscriminate bombing?
Look, I would say they're on their way to a genocide. I'm not saying it's already a genocide, because they've been saying it's a genocide for years now.
They've passed, by my opinion, and I should have said this early on, but I majored in genocide studies, so maybe that's a little fucked up of me not to say it. But when will they cross the line into genocide? What does it take for you?
So the Rwanda genocide, from what I can see, is within 100 days, a
Oh,
million people were killed
okay.
in 100 days
Well,
in a
okay.
concentrated
No,
period.
absolutely
It
true.
seemed like there
It's an
were.
absolute abject terror. I'm not saying it's the same thing.
Yeah, but like that's a big thing you need to prove here, because the thing with like what's happening now, the October 7th attack gives the international justification for response, and that's why Netanyahu, when he talks about it, he says in the aftermath of October 7th, it's crazy the U.S. is calling for arms embargo, or like people in the U.S. are, but he still says they're currently in the aftermath of October 7th because that partly justifies their what they're doing right now.
Okay.
So that's one of the reasons they say
I
that.
would say you and I agree almost entirely, but just in case anybody listening wants to hear this, I pulled up the Article 2 UN definition of Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide. Are you okay if I read off what it says?
For where?
For the definition on the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide by the United Nations.
1 second, I'll look it up too. You can read it though.
Yeah, go ahead. It's from the UN.
No, you can read it.
Article 2. In the present convention, genocide means any of the following acts committed with intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group as such. 1, killing members of the group. 2, causing serious bodily harm or mental harm to members of the group. 3, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or part. 4, imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group. And 5, forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. I would say Israel in Palestine is easily meeting 2 of those, if not 3.
Do you think Russia and Ukraine is a genocide of Ukrainians?
That's a great topic, but let's finish that one first, because I would love to do that one next. But how do you feel about that as a terminology for genocide in Israel with Gaza?
I assumed when we talked about genocide, we were operating off of a similar definition, and still, like you said, you can argue there's some parts of that met. No, but like I say it's in the stages of it, because like, for example, in 2023, after October 7th, if you said right after it, this is a genocide, then when it escalates to what's happening now, it's much, much worse than it was before. But there's no way we can even signal that it was worse, because even when the war crimes and indiscriminate killings were happening, they weren't labeled as such. We just use words like genocide. The same way when people say like, oh, that Democrat's a socialist or the Republican's a fascist, it's probably better to point out the things you're saying that are negative, like, oh, they're doing war crimes and killing children, all that kind of stuff. It's a better argument.
I will say to your credit, and specifically being very, very verbose about this, I think that the way that people use the term genocide, the way that it is used in our culture, is not effective. But as far as establishing a terminology together, you and I do think that using the UN definition is a pretty stable way to do that.
I'm just not sure how that changes the conversation we were having about the label that people should be using.
It doesn't at all. It's just. Do you said I wouldn't consider it a genocide. I would ask you, when in the 40s would the Holocaust have been considered a genocide by your metric? Like, when did it become a genocide then? When it started as an ethnic cleansing, of course, of Jewish people, of disabled people, of queer people, etc. When did it become a genocide and it wasn't an ethnic cleansing in Poland and Germany?
Well, I'm pretty sure at that time when it was happening, I don't even think the term genocide was used. It was probably litigated after the fact.
It existed, but of course it was not used because we hadn't seen it in the modern era, right? But by your metric, how would it be? When did it become genocide?
Well, they initially were gonna do. They initially had like the Madagascar plan and a bunch of other things for ethnic cleansing. So I'd probably say that was along the stages of it. When you get to Let me see. I don't have an actual.
I would call
time
it
chart
before
of-
the 40s. I would say it became a genocide in the 30s by my metric, but that's just my opinion.
Because, like,
right?
in my estimation, when it comes to the word genocide, and when it comes to people on the
It's
left
a
wanting,
heavy word.
but they want people to say these evil Zionists are doing a Holocaust in Gaza, just like the Nazis. They're doing a genocide, and that's why we need to stop all support to Israel. In my
Well,
opinion, if you want to support Palestinians, that's a terrible way to talk about the topic. That's my
Sure.
main
Well,
thing.
that is, in fairness, and again, conversationally, I think that's a really fair point. That's its own conversation about what is the most
Well,
effective
that's
way
my
to talk about
that's
this.
like 90% of
But the
what I
question
deal
is-
with, because I don't know much
but the
about
question
international
is-
genocide standards or about
Oh,
the
okay.
development of
So
this.
then-
So
so-
when I
but-
talk about
but I
messaging in
told
America,
you-
that's what I'm more
yeah,
concerned over. Is the political.
No,
I know
understood,
what ends I
understood.
want to reach, and I know what means we need to do to get there. Any
Understood.
topic it can be. I'm a messaging person first and foremost.
That's very fair. I think that is incredibly salient. I think that is a real world way to look at it. But just for the fact of defining the term, do you agree with the UN definition of genocide? Because if not, that's fine. We can move on. But if you know what I mean, it seems very clear.
No, that's why I said it can be a developing genocide that's not litigated yet. Because you
Okay,
said,
but
you said, there's some standards that are
I
met
read
so
it,
far.
you
There's some
pulled it
standards that
up,
are still
right?
up for litigation. Yeah, but you even said yourself, like, there's some standards that are met, which can be in different conflicts.
Sure.
So, like, some people say Ukraine, Russia can be a genocide or ethnic cleansing, which it probably is.
So-
Definitely an ethnic
well,
cleansing on a
again,
national basis.
I mean,
but
I think that there's a great argument to be had there. But as far as any of the following acts committed, any of the following acts, and then there's 5 of them, I think 2 are easily shown in Israel's genocide. Excuse me.
Yeah, and that's why there's war
acts
crimes litigated. Yeah, I agree with the war crimes. I agree with that. I agree with Netanyahu being a war criminal that should be arrested. Yeah, but that's not the same thing as calling it. Yeah.
I think earnestly we will be wasting our breath to try to litigate exactly the terminology of genocide. If you call it war
Yeah, I
crimes
agree.
and ethnic cleansing, then I think that we're mostly on the same side here. We just disagree about the specific word. And that's okay with me. But I'm interested to hear about when the German Holocaust became a genocide versus an ethnic cleansing. Because for me, it was in 1938.
I don't know about that. Okay, so like what I can say is, okay, so like in Netanyahu's case, right now in Israel, the main point is, you can argue his government's been hijacked by far-right extremists, which he welcomed in to keep a political majority in
hijacked
Israel.
is a
100%.
really generous term, but I understand.
but he welcomed them in to maintain power. But those
Yeah.
elements have overrun Israel, especially after October 7th. And now Netanyahu
Absolutely.
refuses to act pragmatically, or he's unable to, because he wants to maintain power above all else. So that makes it difficult for him.
Yeah.
But I still would agree he should be held to be in court, and there should be litigation for his corruption charges in Israel that keep getting delayed, those trials, and also for International Criminal Court to litigate that as well. But I cannot confidently say these terms that I don't know enough about. And for Americans in general, if we want Americans to support Palestinians, we probably should not say, hey, the Israeli Jewish state is doing a Holocaust just like the Nazis. It's not going to be a message that ever is successful.
Can I ask you a question that is often asked of me, but I'm not asking this with an end to it. I'm not. It's not a leading question.
By the way, I just copied
Are you
Hillary
Jewish?
Clinton's. That was Hillary Clinton's statement, by the way, that I just said to you. But just so you know. But yeah, what's up?
It is a question that's often asked of me in these conversations, but I am not asking this as a combative question. I'm asking it as just a general question. Are you Jewish?
No, they ask me a lot because my nose is big.
Oh,
so all the Trump supporters are very anti-Semitic.
Okay, enough.
That's what they say. That's what they say. And I also I have some Eastern European and some Southern European, so I'm a little bit tan.
Well, brother, when you get me on your stream on the camera, you'll see my nose is quite small. But I'm a very Jewish person, and I only ask that to say that it's very, very challenging to talk to my family about this, but I do. And I get more pushback more than strangers, and I canvass and I speak to strangers every day of my life since October 7th, and for the 2 years preceding it, about what I would call a genocide, or what we will just call it an ethnic cleansing from here on out. And it's very challenging to do because you have to weave between people's understandings of their own values. But the thing that I find time and time again is that Jewish people have a moral status, have a moral understanding of the idea that you should not indiscriminately kill children. And every single time, bar none, again, it's been several years now, I have 4 or 5 years that I've been doing this, I've never left a conversation with a Jewish person without them saying, understood. Like, I agree. This something needs to change. However, with non-Jewish people, I've often left the conversation with them saying, you're a self-hating Jew. You don't understand what the core of war is.
You've said that to them, or they've said that to you?
No, they're saying that to me. Oh, they said it to me.
Okay, yeah, I've heard that a lot. I heard Rotary Torres say that to the Adam Friedland guy.
It's no good. It's no good. It bothers me because again, this is something I've done my entire adult life. I don't know how old you are, but I've done it for about 7 or 8 years.
Do you think Hassan is anti-Semitic at all when he talks about the Jewish state controlling American politics?
Okay, first of all, I will hit that. But let's finish this first, and then I promise I'll hit that one.
It's like the evil Zionists are controlling all the politicians.
I have an absolute clip for that. But first of all, I mean, when I talk to Jewish people, they universally, by the end of the conversation, agree with me that there is an issue that's happening here, regardless of how they terminize it. And when I talk to non-Jewish people, they seem really resistant to the idea that Israel is doing something wrong. I find that bizarre, but it's consistent.
Well, Zohar Mamdani is best friends with Brad Lander, and he's a liberal Zionist, so good for him.
What, best friends with who?
Brad Lander. He's my boy.
Yeah, I know Brad Lander, but I mean that's a different conversation. Are we done with Israel?
Well, Hassan said every Zionist, Hassan said every Zionist is an evil Nazi, so that includes Brad Lander.
And it includes me, baby.
You're a Zionist? You believe in the Israeli state or the Jewish state?
I was at one point, no longer, of course.
So are you in favor of a two-state solution?
Oh God, that's an entirely different conversation. You got to pick and choose here.
I don't know how it could be anything but Tuesday. I don't even. I mean, I just copied Hillary Clinton, so.
It has to be. I love the Hillary Clinton vibes. No, it's got to be 2 states or it's got to be 1 state, and I earnestly don't care. You know what I care about is the solution that saves the most children from dying. That's what I care about. I don't give a
so
fuck
speaking
about
of that, when
who
Hassan said that there's baby settlers, and he says settlers are targets of war, are legitimate targets, okay? Does that mean targeting the baby settlers is legitimate?
Oh, no. Okay, so this is something that I unfortunately do know as somebody who does not subscribe to Hassan. I know, unfortunately, what he was talking about here. I only know this because I saw the thing show up in my feed. He was talking about the international rules of war, the idea that an occupied population has the explicit international ability to resist violently against an occupying force, but only during combat. That explicitly in international law is only during combat. I don't think he said that they can resist outside of that, but you can tell me if I'm wrong.
When I've heard him talk about it, it's essentially like disregarding, like, if you are in this territory, you are guilty. You are a legitimate military.
Yeah, well, I don't give a fuck. I don't know this motherfucker. Yeah, fuck him on that. It's the only thing I agree with.
Well, they're illegal territories, right? So if they're illegal territories, then it's active war.
No,
so
but
do you agree with Hassan that you should be able to kill babies?
That is not. International law does not let you kill people who are internationally in settlements. if they are attacking you, you can fight back violently. Again, it doesn't cosign murder. If he said that, then fuck him.
I don't know. He just says the Zionists are controlling American politics an awful lot. He's like, oh, Zohran Mamdani's pretty good, but he works with the Jews a lot. It's like, oh, no, I don't know.
Again, I'm down to chat about that if you want.
The way they use the word Zionist
you
is really weird to me. I don't like the way they say Zionist. I feel like they use it as a slur.
You hear it like Drake saying the N-word.
Zionist. No, just like they all say, all the super far left media, like Majority Report and Hassan, and they say it, or even, a lot of these people say like these evil Zionists controlled.
Can I ask you, how do you define yourself politically? Because you asked me that at the beginning of this conversation, and I don't really bother myself with it anymore, but it sounds like you do have a good idea of how you describe yourself politically.
I'm a progressive. I used to be a liberal progressive. Now I'm a progressive liberal.
What was that journey like, and like what ages was that for you?
Because I believed after 2016, 2020, we needed power structures outside the Democratic Party, and then I realized that
you voted for Hillary in 2016.
100%. Well, I wasn't old enough. I'm 25.
Okay,
okay. 25
that's
seems
why.
old now. I hate saying I'm 25. I feel like I'm gonna die soon.
You're making me feel like a fucking mummy, but yeah, no, I understand.
No, that's good. Oh, yeah, don't worry. I was I was traumatized at a young age, so I'm an old man. So
yeah, you good.
Basically, I was a Bernie bro, and I believed in outside organizing and stuff. And then I realized, holy shit, if we don't engage in party politics and power politics, we're going to fall to fascism. And I'd rather a capitalist system versus a fascist one, which is what we're going to choose between, basically. A progressive capitalism versus a authoritarian fascist. And I'd rather social democrat politics rather than nothing at all. So I became very harm reductionist, and I became a liberal instead of being a radical progressive, and that's why I hate Hassan, because he wants people to be like I used to be, and I know the way I used to be is very damaging and terrible for human beings.
Well, see, I don't know Hassan's stuff, so it's not very valuable. But your politics are valuable to me because I understand that shit. And for me, I grew up in Arizona. I was the most leftist person I knew at 13 because I was a libertarian. I am no longer a libertarian. Do you know what I am now?
What?
So do you want to take a guess?
You were okay. Say what you went from again.
I was a libertarian at 13.
Yeah.
And I was the hardest left person that I knew by a long shot.
Okay, so you rode too much with no bike helmet on and hit your head a lot, so you were a libertarian, and then what happened?
Honestly, yeah, pretty much. But then I changed.
Okay.
I was 13.
Now I assume it's hard to say.
I was 13.
Yeah, I mean usually, yeah. Wait, okay. With your foreign policy takes, are you on the left in general?
Yes, I'll say yes, but again, I don't want to give you hints.
I don't freaking know. I don't care.
Oh boy, you don't want to take a wild guess. You know I'm Jewish. You know I'm anti-Israel. You know I'm somewhat radical.
Are you a socialist?
I would say I'm a little further left than that.
Are you a communist?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, because communism and libertarianism are very similar. What's further left than a socialist?
That's it's a perfect challenge in that you can't get the right answer. I don't ascribe to a specific terminology for the political ideas that I have. However, I would say that I'm further left of socialism, and further left of liberalism, and further left of libertarianism, and I think I'm further right of communism, whatever that fucking means. I mean,
that description of your political ideology just made me want to go to bed. By the way, whatever you just said
makes you want to go to bed.
Now. Whatever you just said. By the way, Hassan is pro-China, pro-Russia.
You said you wanted to go to bed like an hour ago.
Hassan is pro-China and Russia, and he's he's anti-America.
Wait, I have a question for you, genuinely.
What
is Hassan like superpower? Like, I feel like every time I talk to somebody, they're always bringing up Hassan. I don't know who this guy is. I know he's like a popular guy, but like, what is he like a huge like voice or something? Because I feel like a lot of people invoke his name.
Yeah, it's a
And
big
you just did
platform.
now for the fourth time. It's
Huge
maybe
platform.
the fifth time you brought it up.
I mean, when you have someone
Oh,
who
is
can
he- okay,
regularly
he's a
get
big
like
platform. Okay, that
50,000
makes sense.
viewers
That
like
makes
at a
sense.
time, yeah, and
But
he drives
he's got
discussions. And he's interviewed
got a
Bernie
big
Sanders and
platform.
AOC multiple times. Yeah, it's a
Okay,
big deal
okay.
when you have someone who's
That makes sense.
anti-democracy on the left being a leech
But-
and poisoning us. Yeah.
For me, I mean, just for me personally, I don't care what he is doing. I mean, I want to talk. I'm trying to talk politics with you. I'm not talking politics with Hassan.
Yeah, but I'm a tiny little boy.
What is?
Well, you would use them as your base point for a conversation, because, like, okay, well, you don't know me yet, but if you have a reference for who
I feel like I
Hassan
know
is,
you a
it's a
little
shortcut. But it's a shortcut in a conversation if you bring up another person that's well
Okay,
known.
that makes sense.
All right, but I'm gonna go sleepy sleep. But I really
right.
appreciate the call.
You wanna
Shout
hit
out
me
to
back
the
up?
say thank you to the people in the chat who paid for you to talk.
Yo,
They
Pat,
may have regretted it
absolutely.
'cause
You want to
they're
hit me up on
they're
DMs?
DGGers.
We can pick this back up next
Well, no,
time.
just go. I'm not. Listen, this conversation was a one time thing. I'm not talking about Hassan again with you. Okay,
got-
but if you are
Plenty of
bored and you
shit
want
to
to
say,
talk to
baby.
people, you could join Discord. All right. And
Oh
hang
yeah,
out
hit
with
me
us
up,
in
hit
there.
me up. What the Discord link is?
It's in my look under any of my channel videos, or on my actual YouTube channel.
All right. Before we go, can you tell me one thing that is nice that happened to you today?
I got donations on coffee
Bet,
from Devin.
bet. Sweet dreams, brother. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
All
and I
right,
appreciate
appreciate it. Have a good night. Appreciate the call.
it. Sweet dreams, brother. Bye.
This is what happens when I listen to Vandred on what callers to take. My whole stream just dies. Don't feel bad, guys. All right. I know I was at 400 viewers and I went down to 185, but I was gonna go to bed anyway. I have to wake up early for my. I gotta go deliver some Amazon packages before work. I am getting close to a point where I could stop though. I'm getting close, guys. I'm getting close to a good point. So if you want to help me get to that point, please donate to Jola Politics and Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo. These next like 2 weeks until my next paycheck, I had some stuff happen. So whenever, if you guys are well off, now is the time to donate. I'm gonna stop. I'm planning to stop asking for donations so much after the 15th of September though. I'm very sick of asking for donations. So I'm hoping after I grind myself to dust delivering all these packages. I delivered 1,500 Amazon packages in 2.5 months. Kind of crazy. But yeah, Patreon, Drola Politics, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Really appreciate it. Next 15 days, I'm really pushing for a lot of stuff going on in my life. So really appreciate it, especially the next 15. But yeah, guys, have a good night. I'm going to bed. If you donate at all overnight, thank you. I said thank you now for later. I know Discord's been kind of dead. I need to prepare for tomorrow. If I do this panel with Destiny and all this stuff, I've already gotten threats of doxing and stuff. And I've gotten people DMing me and messaging me about Destiny and talking with him. So we'll have to get the Discord. I'll have to get the Discord ready for that. So. All right. Have a good night, guys. Thank you. Do you know how many packages the guy at Amazon sorts? Around 4,000? Yeah, I'm delivering them. More exposure. The exposure will be good. That's the thing. If I have a good performance, at least in terms of like my opening and just going in a little bit tomorrow, I can get some. Talk about donations. I can get some donators from that. Hopefully, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't know how. I have to. 9 p.m. Eastern time. I'll have to write some notes down on what points I want to hit about dark money and politics. But it's all libs on the panel. It's all libs and then counterpoints. Because they couldn't find any populist progressives at all. They just don't. They don't do these kinds of things. Typically. So I don't know if they. The far left is saying so. No left creators. Yeah, but no, we can't find anyone else for the panel who's going to be opposing that much. So yeah, it's a conversation on money and politics and all that kind of stuff. Maybe I'll come with notes on why money and politics is bad. I'll have to think about it. Progressive is the only option now. Yeah. All right, cool. All right. Peace. Thank you again. Thank you. Have a good night. See you guys tomorrow. I haven't done a panel in so long. I hate panels. They're so bad. I hate interjecting with 8 people. 6 is a lot, but 8 right-wing 501c4 nonprofit groups will be Dark Money Rage Fest. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Oh yeah. Hi again, Golf Twitler. I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. Hi again. Those were the days back in the day. I was up late playing oh, that was crazy. That was crazy in the summer. Was that even the summer or like a year ago? Staying up late with like 500 viewers talking about politics and playing Sonic the Hedgehog. Playing Sonic the Hedgehog until like 5 a.m. I think I played Sonic the Hedgehog until 5 a.m. like 5 straight nights. Like that was my favorite period of this channel so far. I was listening to A-Golf's music on my at the end of the stream. That was a time of my channel, dude. I was doing Sonic speedruns. Oh my god. I miss that. It feels like an old era on my tiny little channel. A-Golf does music. Alright guys, have a good night. See you tomorrow. Appreciate it. Thank you for all the donations. And viewership and all that kind of stuff. You know how it is. You know how it is, man. See you tomorrow.